Cool. All right, cool. We are now live on all the YouTubes. My personal YouTube, the Black Atheist Coalition, and Deconstruction Zone. All right, cool. Let me edit this up real quick. All right. Cool. All right, y'all. Start liking the live, start sharing, start liking the live, and start sharing. If you want to go ahead and come on up and discuss anything I have on the board, go ahead and come on up. I would definitely appreciate it. If you'd like to discuss anything I have on the board, you would like to discuss these things, go ahead and come on up. I will really appreciate it. If you're out there watching me on YouTube, on both the channels, I also appreciate that. You guys can come on up, start liking this live, start sharing. Let's go ahead and start getting this popping. Y'all start letting me know what y'all think. Go ahead and come on up and let's have a good discussion, y'all. Let's have some good debates, y'all. I do see some people with some crosses in their profile picture, so I definitely know that you do not agree with anything I have on the board. So if you would like to have that discussion, you would like to talk to me and tell me, anything, if you think there's evidence for a God, if you think that faith is a reliable way to get to the truth, if you think holy books are evidence and not claims, if you think God is necessary for morals and purpose, if you think that creationism has evidence, go ahead and come on up and we can go ahead and have a good discussion, good debate, and good talk about it. I do see people go ahead and coming on in. Keep liking the live, y'all. Keep sharing. Keep liking the live, y'all. Keep sharing. Run them likes up. Run them likes up. We can go ahead and get some people in here and fight all your friends, all your misomi, all your amigos. Go ahead and bring them all in here and we can go ahead and start discussing this. Don't be shy, y'all. No. True. No, I do not believe there is a God. I do not believe there is a God, true. So if you would like to come up and discuss why not, go ahead and come up and discuss why I don't believe that there's a God. I don't believe there is a God because there is no, I don't have any evidence of one. I don't think there's good evidence of one. And if you do think there's good evidence of one, go ahead and come on up. Let's see what you got to say. Don't be shy, y'all. Don't be shy. Go ahead and come on up and let's have the discussion. Anytime someone has tried to tell me, a God exists for whatever reason, usually it's a look at the trees argument, which those are just not good reasons. You know what I mean? Because anyone could say, look outside and into the universe and say that's proof of anything, right? I could say look outside and that proves the genie of the lamp, but no one is gonna convert to genieism anytime soon, right? So we need more than just look outside or whatever. If anybody would like to discuss something like that, there should be a button for you to join. Give me a second. Okay, for some reason, I don't know why I can't invite you up. True. For some reason, I can't invite you up. But I do know I have multi-guest option. The multi-guest option is there, so you should definitely be able to join. There should be a guest box somewhere. I'm on my computer, so I'm not able to see the guest box. There it is. All right, true. All right, true. How's it going?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked because how you doing, by the way? My bad.
All good. How's it going?
Good. I'm a Haitian myself,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm a little shocked that you say you don't believe there's a God, but I believe there's a God because man, I've been through a lot in life. when I started going to when I started going to church, a lot of things changed for me in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started to believe there is a God, because at some point I was dealing with depression, suicide, I lost my family, going through a whole lot of stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
then just going to church, everything turned around, not instantly, but it took time. It took months. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I believe there is a God. On top of that, I keep saying to myself, how are we here on this earth if there wasn't a God? I understand our mothers birthed us, they carried us,
Mm-hmm.
but remember, our mother has a mother. Our mother has a mother as well.
Mm-hmm.
So where do they come from? You know what I mean? It has to be some type of creator. We just, like, to me personally, I don't believe everything in the Bible is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That's my belief. I think man wrote the Bible. There's some things to it that's true. Like, I believe earth is hell. I don't believe there's eternal hell, but I
Mm-hmm.
believe earth is hell. But
Okay, sure.
I mean,
Well,
yes.
here's a few things I would say. Oh, first of all, everybody gets 15 minutes. If you come up and discuss with me, we're gonna discuss for 15 minutes. That's for everybody. That's the rule. All right. So here's two things I would say. Number one, I am happy you found a community, right? Finding a community is very, very important because that's part of the human experience. We all need a community. Even those who call themselves quote unquote antisocial, you're not as antisocial as you think. You need to have other people around you. So finding a community is a good thing, right? That is an advantage of all the major religions. You have a built-in community wherever you go. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, but that doesn't make a God exist. I understand that with your experience, because you became part of that community, good things started happening to you. But what I would say, one thing that you can take in consideration is that those good things might have started happening to you simply because you had that community. Yeah, I mean, you can find some of those good things that happen to you possibly in any community. You see what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily. I don't think it's necessary that a God exists. Therefore, when you join that community, therefore those things happen. You know what I mean? Those good things just could have happened to you simply because you were part of that community. That's the first thing I would say. But the second thing I would say is when it comes to how do we got here, existence in of itself is a big mystery, right? But one thing I always point out to everybody is that there has never been a case where the supernatural was the explanation to anything. If you look at anything that we know about this universe, anything, the supernatural cause has never been the explanation. Never. Not for gravity, not for rain, not for volcanoes. It's never been something supernatural. It's always been a natural explanation. So why would we then think that existence in of itself would then be a supernatural explanation? It doesn't have to be. It could just be a natural. It could just be a natural process that we simply do not understand. Our ancestors did not understand how rain happened. They thought it was Shango or Thor or Zeus, right? But we know how rain happens now, right? Water evaporates. That's how rain happens. But back when they didn't understand the process, they thought it was Zeus. Now, just because we don't understand the process of how the universe came to be now, the best evidence we have is the Big Bang, but we still don't understand what happened or how the singularity, why it expanded the way it did. We don't know that type of stuff yet, but that doesn't mean that it has to be a supernatural explanation. Now, you did bring up, our moms and our moms going back and back and back and back. That goes into evolution. Evolution is a theory of population genetics. It's never just one person was born and gave birth to a human or whatever. That's not really how evolution works. But there are basically explanations for this, right? Now you do have to speak to like evolutionary biologists. I really know most of the surface level stuff, but there are explanations for these things that do not require a supernatural explanation, do not require a God. You see what I'm saying? So like all these things that you're telling me is like exactly the same thing that I've always said. None of these are really show that a God exists. It shows that you got a good community and you don't know how we came to be, or why existence is what it is. Those are all good questions, but it doesn't necessarily conclude that there's a God.
Now, let me say this. I mean, you made very good point. Now, me personally, I believe in witchcraft. I grew up in it. I experienced a lot of things. Now, to me, I say to myself, for those I'm gonna say this due to the fact that I'm a Haitian, I'm gonna just say this. A lot of people may not know. For those spirits to know certain things that's gonna happen and or certain things in my life that has happened, that even though I didn't tell him anything, that's also where I believe there is a God as well. Because how on God, like for example, I got my older brother. Before he got incarcerated years ago, they told him, hey, there's gonna be a death on this day, blase blase. So said, so done. They predicted he's gonna be out. Boom, he got out for real. So this is why I believe there is a God, because if these spirits can predict things, I'm saying for them to be here, there has to be some type of, like, I'm not, we use the word God because I feel like man created or named it God, but there is, I believe there is a creator. You know what I mean? Just for that fact alone, with those experiences that I had, you know.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a case where those spirits were wrong?
No.
There's never been a case where those spirits are wrong.
Nope. Never.
What about me?
You say you?
Yeah.
And in what sense?
Those spirits are wrong about me.
So have you encountered with them before?
Yeah, I've encountered witchcraft before. Remember, I'm Haitian too, so I've encountered quote unquote witchcraft before, where they say that they that the next day my entire family will be Lugawus, right? They was gonna transform us into a cat. I'm here, so they were wrong, right?
Yeah, I mean that is true, but at the same time, you have good and bad. Like, I mean, I've heard people said, they went to certain people and they gave them false advice, or, but for the most part, in my experience, everything that they have told me actually happened. So just that alone, I just believe there is a God, because I'm like for example, you go to the store, you see these candles. That's why one of the 10 Commandments say, "Do not worship idols." Like, I'm a Catholic. I grew up a Catholic. At the end of the day, people say Catholics we worship the devil because we pray to saints. I mean, I don't know how true that is, but at the end of the day, I do believe there's a God, and I'm not knocking you for not believing that. But I just use the word God because that's what man named it, God. But I just believe there is a creator. But do you believe there is a creator? Let's not use the word God, but do you believe there's a creator?
Like a deliberate agent that made the universe?
Yes.
No, because there's no evidence of that. But let's go back to my question of the entire thing of those spirits, right? What happens when those spirits are wrong? Because they were wrong about me. Obviously, I'm not a cat. So what happens when they're wrong? Does that show that there's not a God because they were wrong?
No, I mean, it doesn't,
Right.
I mean,
so
they can be wrong from. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. So I'm saying, like, yeah, they could be wrong, and the things that they predicted about you could be right. Like, it's all a coin flip, right? Like, I could predict that it's gonna rain tomorrow, right? If it rains tomorrow, does that mean I'm a prophet? It really doesn't. Like, a lot of these things, like predictions, horoscopes, and zodiac and stuff like that. A lot of those things are like very, very vague, and they make them vague on purpose, just to fit to everybody. You see what I'm saying? If you really analyze what they say, you'll see that they're not very accurate on what, or not saying, I'm not saying accurate. They're not very precise in exactly what they're saying. You see what I'm saying? And there's a reason for that. They want to be as vague as possible, so when something eventually does happen, you think that is true.
Got you.
But yeah, on your question on whether I think there's like a deliberate creator that made the universe, no, I don't believe that.
Now, let me ask you one last thing. Growing up, did you believe there was a God at some point, or you always believed there was no God?
Oh yeah, I definitely believe, because my dad's a pastor. Yeah, I mean, my father is part of the New Jerusalem. I'm not sure if you know about that denomination. I don't know if you grew up in South Florida. If you grew up in South Florida, you heard of Mount Olive Church of God. My dad is a pastor in that church.
What's the name of the church?
Mount Olive Church of God, the New Jerusalem. They have like 10, 15 churches. There's one in Philly. There's one in France right now. My dad just opened up. But yeah, it's gone pretty large. But yeah, my dad's a pastor in that organization. So yeah, I grew up under it.
Got you. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I can't knock you. Everyone has their own belief, So I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, you're not the only one. I've seen other people say there is no God. So, I mean, I don't know what to say. I can't judge you guys and say you guys are wrong. Everyone just has their own belief,
Right. Right. Of course.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being up here, Terrell. You have a good night. All right.
All right, you too, man. Thanks.
Not a problem. All right, y'all. Y'all go ahead and keep liking the live and keep sharing. I do appreciate everybody who was here. Jots and Titles, I appreciate you being in the comments. I appreciate you, bro. Champ, in my YouTube section, you are next up right after I speak to Aaron on my TikTok. So I'm gonna speak to Aaron, then I'm gonna speak to Champ, and then Schemes is you, then Sandy, it's you. Everybody gets about 10 to 15 minutes. Go ahead and keep liking the live, y'all, and keep sharing it. I appreciate everybody here. Aaron, are you over 18? And you also said not another black atheist with a sad face. Why do you say that?
Hey, yeah, I am over 18, and I don't know. I just don't like seeing black atheists. I mean, I don't like seeing atheists in general, but I think maybe because I'm black, I just have like.
I love seeing black atheists because the thing is, you know, we all know that black people are not a monolith, right? We know that black people are not a monolith. But the problem that I've always found is that the default position for black people is that you're always some sort of Christian or Muslim. You know what I mean? Like that's the default position. If you're a black person, you're always some sort of Christian or Muslim. Because we live in the United States, likely you're going to be a Christian. And if you say that you're not a Christian, they're just going to assume that you're Muslim. You know what I mean? And we are way more diverse than that. You see what I'm saying? And I think that the Abrahamic religions have, especially Christianity and Islam, have, basically erased a lot of our cultural heritage that we had before we became Christian or Muslim. So I like seeing more black atheists. I like seeing black animists. I like seeing black people who are on witchcraft, because there are a lot more diverse perspectives there than just the Bible and the Quran.
Okay, cool. I guess I can start. I think the first one, if there's no evidence for God, there's no good evidence for God. Is it okay if we can unpack that one together?
Sure.
Okay. So you're saying there's no good evidence for God. Are you saying that there is no evidence at all, or that the evidence that there is evidence, but it's not good enough for you personally, or that there's evidence, but you don't accept it as valid because it's not scientific?
When I say there's no good evidence, like for example, anecdotes are technically evidence, right? But it's not good evidence because anybody can come up with an anecdote, so it's not really something that's convincing.
Okay, that's fair. So I definitely understand that.
Mm-hmm.
When you say any of those are not good evidence, though, is that always true?
Always true in what sense do you mean?
Okay, so if 1,000 people report seeing the same thing at different times in different places, you probably would take that seriously, right?
Depends. The stories have to. I think it would have to. No, not really. Because for example, Bigfoot, like thousands of people have said they've seen Bigfoot, right? But there really is no good evidence for Bigfoot. Like people just saying stuff is not really good evidence either. Because for example, there's lots of like manuscripts and stories and everything like that of the ancient Greeks of them claiming to see Zeus. We know Zeus is not real.
Okay, that's fair. So I guess my next question to that particular point, you're saying that I agree with you that testimony isn't valid, but you do agree that there is, like, we do as a society typically agree that that testimony is valid in certain circumstances, though, right?
Certain circumstances, yeah, we have to there is testimony. Usually when it kind of lines up with other lines of evidence, because we just don't take people's word for it, right? Because if we were just taking people's word for it, that it like sometimes we have to take people's words for it, like we have to take your word. But usually that has to line up with other lines of evidence than simply just people's word.
But you can't dismiss it as evidence. You would just have to say it has to be in connection with other evidence.
It has to be in connection with other evidence.
Okay, so we've established that testimony can be a type of evidence, though.
Right. But I've always said that's not good evidence because anybody could testify to anything.
Well, you're saying it's not that it's not good evidence. It's just not good evidence if it's by itself.
Right?
You
No, it's
agree
not good
that it's
evidence. Yeah, I agree that it's evidence. It's just not good evidence.
So I guess I'm a little confused by what you mean by good.
Like, for example, just like how we said, someone can have a testimony, right? Like I can say that I testify that Aaron beats his wife. Is that good evidence just because I say so?
No.
Right, exactly. So like that's why it's not good evidence.
But the difference is that you're talking about unsubstantiated. That's not the same thing as again, we're talking about types of evidence. So as testimony can be a type of evidence.
It can,
because we use it in the courtroom.
Yeah, it can be a type of evidence. I'm not denying that. In the courtroom, even testimony has to be tied with something else. They're just not going to take your word for it.
Correct, but you saying that it's not good evidence when we've convict. So what I'm saying is that we've had cases where they lack evidence, and then eye testimony comes, and then that takes it over the hill. So that eye testimony in that scenario is considered good evidence because it's accepted. So I guess when I ask you what you mean by good, is that if we accept it and we say, hey, this is something that is acceptable as long as it's in combination with other things and it's not by itself, then I'm not understanding why you're saying that it's not good evidence.
Because it has to be in combination with other things. If it's by itself, it's not enough.
But no evidence can be by itself. It has to be multiple things, right? Is there evidence that exists just as itself without combination of evidence that exists without the combination of other things? Like, for example, even DNA evidence.
Mm-hmm.
DNA evidence is literally your DNA on something.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't courtroom just don't prosecute on DNA. They need
something else.
Well.
Yeah,
exactly. They need, especially for example, if it's like a murder trial,
mm-hmm.
they need things like motive. They need all types of things. So that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
This idea of good evidence, I feel like you're kind of pumping that in, and I'm trying to understand why are you saying that testimony
mm-hmm.
is
not good evidence? Because
what would you say about DNA? Would you say DNA is not good evidence?
No, DNA is actually strong evidence. DNA is actually good evidence. Because like you said, it's something physical. An eyewitness can just lie. You see what I'm saying? So because humans are flawed, so that's why witness testimonies have to be in combination with something else. There are tiers of evidence. Essentially, there are evidence that's stronger than others. DNA evidence is much stronger than eyewitness testimony. Now you can't when it comes to like DNA evidence, right? Even within that, there's tiers of the DNA evidence, right? Like when was it picked up? Who picked it up? What was the scene like? You know what I mean? There's tiers of evidence. So it's not even when it comes to DNA, even though it's stronger, even that can't be by itself.
Okay, so I guess now you're arguing more about reliability,
mm-hmm.
because DNA also, you said that DNA actually also can be misread, it can be contaminated, it can be misused.
Yep.
There's been several cases where DNA actually failed.
Correct.
So DNA is physical evidence, testimony is personal evidence. But
mm-hmm.
the idea that one is not good and what the other is good, that's where I'm trying to understand. Because if you have testimony of something, you're a lawyer, you're in a courtroom, and then you get testimony in conjunction with something, it's like gold. It's like a guy saying that he saw something happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say a citizen saw that he saw the guy pull out his gun and shoot, right? The prosecutors are going to be like, oh, we got a conviction. Could we have an eyewitness testimony that corroborates the claim that we're making about this particular individual committing this particular crime? So I'm still stuck
right when it comes to that, right? Because I was a paralegal for a little, well, more of a legal assistant, but I was paralegal for a while, right? So when it comes to something like that, right? Even when there's a case of we have an eyewitness testimony of we saw this person pull out their fire stick and shoot it at somebody, right? Even in those cases, the defense is gonna ask several questions. Where were you? Were you drunk? Do you wear glasses? And if you do wear glasses, how far away were you from seeing that person? And if you were like 50 feet away, how could what shoes were they wearing? What face were they wearing? Did you drink? You see what I'm saying? Like, it just can't be I saw a person did it, therefore we have a conviction. It doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying eyewitness testimony is considered like the least reliable. You have to have something else.
Also, there's been
That's perfect. So
dozens and dozens of studies that show that eyewitness testimony is notoriously unreliable.
Yeah.
Can I-
Zeke, give me a second because everybody has to go one-on-one. All right, it's one person at a time. Just give me a few moments. But go ahead, Aaron.
yeah, so that's exactly why in the courtroom they don't take eyewitnesses on face value. They cross-examine. So this is actually very, very important, the point you're making. So it's you actually don't have a problem when you say good evidence, because if someone actually witnessed something, right? If they witness it, then that evidence by definition would be good evidence, by definition, like didactically. If you have a case and this person actually saw the event, you can't call it bad evidence because they're saying they saw it, and if all the conditions meet, meaning they were not drunk, all these things that you're going through cross-examination for what? You want to check for consistency. You want to compare it versus other evidence to determine its credibility.
Correct.
So when you go through that validating process, then that eyewitness testimony becomes good evidence, correct?
No, because because cases rarely get swung on one eyewitness.
I didn't say one eyewitness. We're just talking about eyewitness in general. If you have someone that actually saw something, like if they actually saw it and they're cross-examined in a courtroom and everything stands that they actually saw that thing, meaning that there's no other evidence to the contrary, you would still call that bad evidence? Yeah,
that's the weakest part. The eyewitness testimony is always the weakest part. You have to have something else. Eyewitness testimony is always weak, and it's almost never one eyewitness. If a case gets won on just one eyewitness, there's a reason why it was that one eyewitness. The case was extremely strong from the beginning. If it's just one eyewitness, then your case is weak. Any lawyer worth their salt will tell you that one eyewitness is very weak. Like, trust me, law and order is not how reality actually works. One eyewitness is always very, very weak. That's why, that's why essay cases, like assault cases, that's why they're very hard to prosecute, because there's only one.
Yeah, so I think there's just two different claims that I'm trying to understand. Are you saying that eyewitness testimony is never good evidence, or are you saying that that it's just a weaker kind of evidence?
In a court of law is very, very weak evidence.
It's not that it's never good evidence, though.
Right. Well, we're talking about two different things, right? In a court of law, is eyewitness testimony is considered like the most inferior evidence. It's very, very weak evidence. When we're talking about what we're talking about now, like claims of the supernatural, is not good at all.
Yeah, but I'm confused because people get convicted on testimony all the time,
and those are weak cases, and they all get turned over if the person has the money for it, of course. Like the Innocence Project is this is what the Innocence Project is all about. Like people, cases get turned over on because they only had one eyewitness, or the eyewitness that they had didn't actually see it because they weren't actually there, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So eyewitness testimonies, if a case gets won on one eyewitness testimony, those are some of the most easiest ones to exonerate. A lot of them just don't because the money.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that this selective skepticism doesn't mean that just because it's a weaker evidence that it's not a good evidence. Because just because it's weak doesn't mean that it's not good. Because if it's one of the things in combination with other cases that can win a case, meaning that you can have all these other so quote unquote stronger evidences, and then you get eyewitness testimony on top of everything else, and then that is how you get a conviction. Do you see how you calling it bad evidence is? Because I would say you would have to call it bad evidence because the opposite of good is bad. I'm struggling with that, because how can you call it bad if it's the thing that's winning the case, or that's
because it's not
the good?
Because it's not. You never win a case just off of eyewitness testimony, because any lawyer worth their salt will tell you. What I'm saying is any witness, when any lawyer worth their salt will tell you that eyewitness testimony is the weakest form of evidence. You need to have something else.
Yeah, so I think that's a bit of a straw man because I'm not saying that if you have eyewitness testimony as a by itself. Remember what I said? I said if you have
In combination with other things. Yeah, exactly. No,
in
I understood what you
combination with
said.
other things.
But what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
that the eyewitness testimony is still your weakest part.
Yeah, but
But you have
see
to have it in
how-
combination with other things. But the eyewitness is
but-
still the weakest one.
But why are you not calling it bad? Because you're saying weak when originally your claim was
Because-
that it's not good evidence.
because we're talking about-
why are you moving to weak?
Because we're talking about the law. Because you move from the law into a discussion of the supernatural. When it comes to the law,
No. I'm still
supernatural.
talking about
When,
evidence.
I'm not talking about evidence, but when someone's saying you're using the analogy of the law, when you're talking about the law, eyewitness testimony is very, very weak. You can still use it, but it's the weakest part. We're talking about the cases of is there evidence of the supernatural? When we're talking about the supernatural cases, testimony is isn't just not good at all because people are mistaken, people are deluded. Other people can have testimony that are opposite to yours. It's just not good.
Yeah, but do you think there's a difference between not good and weak?
Yes.
Okay, so if there's a difference between not good and weak, then you understand that there's just a bit of a contradiction here because you said it that eyewitness testimony is not good, but now you're just saying it's weak, which are two different good. Not good by definition means inherently bad. Weak just means it's not admissible or it's limited or you should be skeptical about it, et cetera. But
Correct.
not good means that it is inherently bad. It's literally the definition. So you're saying eyewitness testimony is inherently bad, and I'm trying to understand how are you getting to this? Because
we're
if
talking
you
about
are
two
saying-
different
if you're saying-
fields.
if you're saying
Aaron,
that
hold on,
eyewitness testimony-
let me just say this again, Aaron. We're talking about two different fields. In the field of law, eyewitness testimony has weakness. In the field of what we're talking about, science and stuff like that, testimony is just bad evidence.
You said in the field of science?
Yeah, in the field of science and what we're talking about right now, testimony is bad. But in the field of law, it's just weaker. But when we're talking about science, or if we're trying to prove something supernatural, is bad. Like these are like two different fields. That's what I'm saying. I know you're using the analogy like we use eyewitness testimony in law all the time. Understood. I get that we use law in law all the time, right? Because it's like sometimes that's our only choice. But
Yeah.
when it comes to the scientific method and trying to figure out the point of our existence, testimony is just bad evidence because like you can have testimony of one thing and a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Shinto has testimony of something completely different. Which one of you do we believe?
Yeah, so a few things. I think that I think you're right in that empirical science and testimony is not the gold standard. Science wants some sort of repeatable, observable data. So eyewitness testimony is considered weak, or you can honestly consider irrelevant, right? However, the problem, and now I understand that there's a problem here because science can't even study the supernatural. So if you're appealing to science to understand the supernatural, then you're actually misusing science because science only measures natural processes. So if you want to have a conversation about like we're talking about the supernatural, that's outside of the pure view of science.
So
Literally.
we won't be able to prove the supernatural, right?
No, you would just have to prove it through other means. Like they're
How?
okay. So here's my question to you. Would you say that there are logical arguments for God?
They're just not good.
Okay, so now we're going back to this word good. So what do you mean by good in regards to a logical argument?
They're either circular or non sequitur. Either circular or non sequitur or completely unjustified.
So all the arguments for God are circular or non sequitur.
They're circular, non sequitur, or unjustified.
Got it. Okay. So just to make sure I understand it before I present an argument and you tell me what you think. So you're saying that one, we can't use science to prove the supernatural, but we can use logical arguments as a means to evaluate the claim, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So when you say valid logically, do you mean personally convincing to you, or do you mean something different?
Well, we're talking to me, so that it has to be personally convincing to me, I guess.
Okay. All right. So let me give you this argument. And then let me hear what you say here. So the first premise is whatever begins to exist has a cause.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
The
Are we
second
going
premise
with
is-
tag? We're doing the tag again?
What's that mean?
The transcendental?
What are you talking about?
Everything begins to exist as a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe has a cause. That causes God.
No, I wasn't going to go into I wasn't going to say that causes God. I was just going to stop at the third premise.
Third premise, the universe has a cause. Hold on. Everything begins to exist. The universe began to exist, so the universe has a cause.
What's your response to that?
Yeah, sure. Now what?
No, I'm asking what's your. Oh, so you agree to that?
Yeah, universe has a cause. No one disagrees with that.
So okay, so the cause of the universe, what would you say the cause is?
Mhm.
You don't know what the cause is.
Nope.
So you can't rule out that there's an agent behind the cause.
Right. I can't rule it out. I'm just saying that that's not justified at the moment.
How is it not justified if you just said that it has to have a cause?
It has to
Can
have
you
a
use
cause,
the
but that doesn't mean that
universe-
the cause is an agent. You can't justify that.
You're literally contradicting yourself now.
No, it's not, because that's not a contradiction. Just because something has a cause doesn't mean it necessarily has to be an agent. Rain has a cause. There's no agency in rain.
You're saying just because the universe, which
The cause
Is
could be
intelligent.
natural. The
Okay,
cause.
how about this?
I didn't say it was
Is
intelligent. The cause could be natural forces that we do not understand yet, just like how rain was to our ancestors. Like, just because something has a cause doesn't mean the cause is a deliberate agent. It could be a natural force that we simply don't understand. Like lightning was to the Greeks. Lightning thought the Greeks thought that lightning was caused by Zeus, right? But we know that the cause of lightning is just charged ions. So the universe could have a cause, sure. That doesn't mean that it's some deliberate agent. Just could be something
Okay.
natural that we don't understand.
okay, so are you saying, so basically you're saying that just because the universe had a cause, it doesn't mean
That it
mean
was an
that-
agent.
Okay, so you said it could be natural, right?
It could be a natural force that we don't understand. Correct.
Okay, so when you say the cause is natural, what do you mean by that?
Natural, like nature, forces of nature, like physics, chemistry.
Okay, so but do you understand how that statement literally goes against cosmology, like the Big Bang cosmology, right?
No, it doesn't. A Big Bang is all physics. Like they don't use anything supernatural to explain the Big Bang. It's all physics, quantum mechanics, and chemistry.
Yeah, no, Big Bang cosmology.
Uses
Says that-
physics only. It doesn't use anything supernatural. It only uses quantum mechanics, physics, and chemistry. It doesn't use anything supernatural.
No. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. So
Okay.
you use the word natural, right?
Mhm.
That's the word you chose to use. Natural literally just means time, space, matter,
Yeah.
physical laws.
So
okay.
physics, chemistry, and quantum mechanics.
Okay, so time, space, and matter. Did all of that is natural, right?
Yeah, it's all physics,
Okay.
chemistry, and quantum mechanics.
Okay, that had a cause, correct?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, you're saying that natural cause could have been itself.
Yeah, sure.
Do you see what the problem is with that argument?
No, I'm not saying
You
the
see how
natural
simple it
cause
is?
could. I'm not saying the natural cause could have been itself. I'm saying the natural cause could be something that we do not understand yet.
So
Because our current
okay.
our current understanding at physics stops at the Planck time. It stops at the T-1, right? It stops at the Big Bang. Essentially, that's the wall of our understanding of physics. But that doesn't mean that in 10,000 years from now we won't understand more about physics than we do now.
Yeah, but the claim you made earlier was that it could have been a natural cause. Are you wanting to retake?
No,
Like,
it
take
could
that
have been a
back?
natural cause. I said before, it could be a natural cause that we don't understand yet. So yeah, sure, time, space, and matter could have natural causes that we simply do not understand. It's just like the way that we describe physics right now. That's the wall of our physics. We don't. Our understanding of physics breaks down at t-1 at the singularity. We don't understand it at that point. Our concept of time breaks down at that point, right? But that just means that it's something that we don't get yet. That doesn't mean that it's not natural at that point. It could still be natural. It could be something natural that we don't understand. We don't have the language to explain it at that point.
Yeah. First of all, I think I understand your argument. I think it's a good argument. I think it's the best argument to respond to the cosmological argument. The problem with the argument, there's a few problems with your particular argument. I would say the first one is that you're making a statement of faith, which is kind of, you're dressing it up as like some sort of skepticism, but it's basically faith. And then secondly, it is a logical fallacy, which is more formally referred to as the appeal to future knowledge fallacy. So you're betting on a theory that doesn't exist by saying that it could exist in the future. We could have this in the future, but we don't have any evidence for it now, but it could be this in the future. So even in physics, it evolves in.
Well, I don't think that you kind of understood what I said. I didn't make any claims. I just said that the causes. Yeah, the causes of the universe could be something natural that we simply don't understand, right? But I didn't make any claims to that. I'm just saying that as a response to your claim that or your position saying that the beginning of the universe had a cause. I'm just saying that yes, it could have had a cause, right? But that doesn't mean that it necessarily has to be a deliberate agent. It could be a natural force that we don't understand. We just don't know yet. My answer is I don't know. We could know in thousands of years. I just don't know right now. The answer does not have to be a deliberate agent that exists outside of space and time or disembodied mind or however someone describes a God or creative force, anything like that, right? I'm just saying that the answer does not have to be those things because there could be another option that we just don't know yet. And we don't know. That's the answer is we do not know. And I'm comfortable with saying that.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, but let's go back for a second, right? If you're admitting that you don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My position that the cause is deliberate and personal.
Cool. How do you justify that?
Okay. Hold on real quick. So, but your response to that is where the fallacy happens because you are responding to my claim. So your response to that claim is you're saying that it's a possibility. Okay, that possibility is speculative and it's not based on any evidence that we currently have.
So was
no
yours.
evidence. No. It's actually it actually isn't. All I'm speaking to.
What evidence do we have that there's an agent that exists outside the universe that created the universe?
Okay, so let me ask you this question.
No. What evidence do we have
I'm
that there's a universe?
I'm answering it. I'm answering it.
To answer the question is not you can't answer the question with a question. What evidence do we have that there's an agent outside the universe that created space and time? What evidence is there?
Okay, the universe began at a finite point, correct?
We don't know.
So what?
We do not know.
You saying that the universe doesn't have a birth? Like it always is the universe eternal?
Probably. It could be eternal. We don't know.
So
our understanding of the universe and how our understanding of our current presentation of the universe stops at t-1 at the singularity. We have no idea where the singularity came from, how long it existed, what was it. Let me just finish this. We have no idea where that singularity came from, how long it was there. If anything existed before it, we have no idea. We just know that the singularity was there and the universe expanded from there. We don't know anything else before that. You're saying that you do have knowledge of something before that, and I'm asking you, how do you have that? And all you said was the universe started somewhere. That's just circular. That doesn't tell us anything.
Hello.
Give me a second, Fauna.
Okay. So I think that now
and we're about to be at 30 minutes. As a matter of fact, we've gone over time. But go ahead.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for this conversation. Has been great, by the way. Let me lay out this argument again, and then I'll tell you why it's actually answering your particular question. So whatever begins must have a cause, right? The universe began to exist, therefore the universe has a cause. Okay, by definition, the cause has to be timeless, spaceless, and immaterial.
Why?
Hold on. Because time didn't exist.
How do you know that?
Because all the evidence points to that. That's what the evidence points to.
No,
There's no evidence that points that is just eternal. The evidence actually points in the opposite direction.
no. The evidence points that it's eternal because energy can't be created or destroyed, right?
What?
Energy cannot be created or destroyed, right?
That doesn't make any sense.
That's literally the theory of relativity. Energy cannot be created or destroyed.
No. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, man.
Right. But you said
you
said that the evidence points to time beginning at a certain point,
I'm
right?
saying that all of the scientists. I'm not going to go off opinion anymore. I'm going to have to argue scientists. All of the cosmologists that exist today, all of them. One of the most foremost cosmologists, Alexander Vilenkin, says that all of the evidence we have says that the universe had a beginning. He's not Christian, by the way. He's not Christian.
Yeah, sure.
So
Our current presentation.
Most cosmologists say that the evidence says that the universe had a beginning. Now, it
Yeah,
could
sure.
have had a beginning. There could be
Our
more evidence, but that's speculative.
our
The evidence
current
says it did.
sure our current presentation of the universe began somewhere, right? But that is that the are you saying that that's the beginning, like of everything,
What is everything?
including the singularity?
So you said everything. What does that mean? Because we're talking about the universe.
Right, we're talking about the universe, right? So we know that our current presentation of the universe, it expanded from the Big Bang, but I'm talking about that singularity. Are you saying that singularity, like, it popped into existence from something else?
That's what. Well, the evidence shows that it had a beginning.
The singularity? No, it doesn't. We don't know where the singularity came from.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about this. I'm talking about the singular. You're talking about the Big Bang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Big Bang came from the singularity, correct?
Okay. Do you agree that the singularity exists?
The singularity did exist, yeah. But what we're saying is that we have no idea. What I'm saying is that we have no idea where that singularity came from.
Okay. Did the
Our
singularity
knowledge stops from there. We don't know.
Did it cause itself?
We do not know.
I'm asking a logical question. I'm asking a
And
scientific question.
I know what you're asking, and I'm telling you, I do not know.
Okay. Do you understand that it would be impossible logically, right?
No, it wouldn't. It could be physics we don't understand.
Okay, so there we go. Now you're arguing. This is an illogical argument now because now you're appealing to something, a theory that doesn't even exist right now. It's just
Okay, so you're saying
it's like whataboutism. It's like, what about this?
It's not what
It's not
about
an argument.
It's not whataboutism. You're making the assertion that this is impossible, and I'm saying that that's not necessarily true,
From a
because
logical perspective, it literally is.
it is not. Even in logic, they can say that.
Okay, well,
Even in
listen,
logic, they
does
can
the singularity exist within our universe?
within our universe. I don't know. Yeah, that's a physicist. I have no clue.
Can we scientifically see it with our like?
Oh no, the singularity is gone because we are expanded past that. So singularity.
Okay,
is gone.
so how can there's evidence for it, right? That
Yeah,
we can
sure.
measure,
We have
right?
to
We have tools to
look
measure
at the
it, right?
yeah. We have to look at the microwave background radiation, like mathematical models, all that good stuff.
All right. Okay. So again, we agree then that it didn't just appear from nothing, right? Or would you? Or
Right.
or
It
you're
didn't come
arguing
from. Yeah. We both know that it didn't come from nothing. Nothingness is not a thing. There's no such thing as nothing. There always has to be something, right? Because the moment you point to nothing, it becomes something. So nothingness is impossible. There's no such thing as nothing.
Mhm.
So yeah,
your argument that it could have caused itself, right?
that's not my argument. My argument is that I don't know where the singularity came from.
Yeah.
You're
so-
asserting.
so-
Hold on. Wait.
Yeah, but
You're asserting. I'm saying that I do not know what caused singularity or where it came from. You're asserting that you do know, and you have no justification for that. You're just saying that it did because it couldn't have come from nowhere. So what? So I can say the same thing. It couldn't come from nowhere. Therefore, a genie.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm positing. I'm saying
You're positing
that-
something timeless, spaceless, and personal and immaterial that created it. What is the justification for that? Because I could simply say that no, it's not that. It's my genie from the lamp. It's the same exact argument. We have no justification for either of these positions.
we do have justification because I'm
There
arguing
is
from
zero
quantum-
justification for saying that something exists outside of space and time that creates something. That makes no sense. All right, we're
metaphysics
actually at
one-
40 minutes, bro. I have to go ahead
Can I
and
just make
move
the
on to
last
another.
statement real quick to you?
Yeah, sure.
So again, nothing.
All right. So I appreciate you guys being here. All right, Champ. I do appreciate you being patient. I do appreciate you being patient, Champ. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you up. I'm gonna add you to the stage. All right, guys. Champ is over on my YouTube. Give me a second so I can put him on the screen. Actually, sorry about that. There we go. All right, Champ, are you there? Go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, what's up, man?
I'm all right. Can everyone on the live hear Champ? Let me know if y'all can hear him. Go ahead and say testing 1 2 1 2 for me, Champ.
Yeah, testing. What's up?
I'm all right. Can y'all hear him? Okay, cool. They can hear you. Cool. All right. How's it going, Champ?
Yeah, I'm good, man. What's up?
I'm good, man. Are you over 18 and did you want to discuss what I had on the board?
Yeah, I'm over 18. Yeah, I'll talk to you about God. Are you familiar with quantum mechanics and how it operates on like a probabilistic system, like the wave function collapses?
Yeah, I've heard of all that, but like I am not good at that at all. I wouldn't be able to discuss that at length at all.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not like a quantum physicist, but I understand a little bit about it. But I would just present an argument like this. I would say premise one, quantum physics is fundamental to reality.
Mm-hmm.
Would you accept? Do you accept that premise?
Yeah, I think I would accept that. Quantum mechanics is like that's
Yeah.
as far as we can go when it comes to our
Sure.
physical reality.
Yeah, sure. And then premise two would be mathematics is fundamental to quantum mechanics. Would you agree with that?
I guess, sure.
Okay, and then and then my third premise would be mathematics is an abstract concept.
Mathematics is abstract, yes.
Yeah, and then premise four would be abstract concepts are experienced and understood in a mind.
Sure.
So yeah, so therefore mathematics comes from a mind.
Yeah, it comes from us. It comes from humans. We make it up.
Yeah, I'm saying mathematics existed prior to humans.
Sure. How do you show that to be the case?
Yeah, because quantum mechanics existed prior to humans. We just discovered quantum mechanics.
Yeah, we discovered quantum mechanics, and mathematics is the language that we use to describe it, right? This is like saying English existed before humans. English is just a language that we made up.
Yeah, the process of mathematics existed prior to humans figuring out how to describe it is what I'm saying.
All right, so 1 + 1 = 2 existed before us.
That's correct.
How do you show that? How do you know that?
Because that's how quantum mechanics operates.
Right. I understand that quantum mechanics is a thing, but what I'm saying is that mathematics is just a language that we use to explain it. That doesn't make it exist outside of us.
Let me see if I can figure out a way to explain this.
No, I understand exactly what you mean. I understand exactly what you mean. No, I understand exactly what you mean, champ. What I'm saying is that mathematics is a language, just like English, just like Spanish, just like Haitian Creole, just like Wolof, just like all the 900 language that exists in the 900 language that exists in India and the 500 that exist in Nigeria. All of these are just things that we make up. They don't exist outside of us, right? So quantum mechanics is something that operates and exists outside of us, and math is what we use to explain it. But that doesn't mean that math in of itself is something that exists outside of us. You will have to show that.
I would say a close example I could provide close to mathematics would be logic as well. Like logic exists. Humans are just using words to describe logic, but logic exists regardless of our existence. Like the law of identity for existence. For example, sorry.
Say that one more time.
I was saying that the law of identity exists regardless if humans exist or not. We're just using words to describe it. We're doing the same thing with mathematics. The process exists regardless of if we figure out how to describe the mechanism.
Right.
So yeah,
So you're saying that mathematics exist outside of us, and we discovered it.
yeah, I think we discovered mathematics. Correct.
Okay, so
We use language to discover to explain the process of mathematics.
all right, so we use all right, so we use language to explain the process. So you don't believe that math is a language in of itself?
Math is a language in and of itself. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think I think it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if math is a language in of itself, that means that we invented it because we invent language.
No, we used our language to describe another language.
We use our language to describe another language.
Right. Yeah, like a translation, right?
Okay, and how do
Mhm.
you show that?
I'm sorry, what?
How do you show that
Yeah,
to be
like
true?
if you say 2 + 2 is 4, you're using your language to describe a mathematical language.
So math is not, the numbers and the axiomatic rules we created. It's something. It's a language
When I say the word 3, right? That's like the English language. I'm using the English language to describe a mathematical language.
Right. So like three, it's three in English, but it's tres in Espanol, it's trois in French. So yeah, I get that. So these are different ways to say the number three. But you're saying that the number three in of itself is actually another language that we don't know yet, and we're just using our human language to say what the number three is.
No,
so
I
we
think
can
math
understand.
I think math is a language in and of itself, right?
Yeah, like I said, so if math is a language in of itself, that means we invented it.
That we discovered, right? Right.
Right, but
Like
if we
it's like
didn't
I'm trying to
we didn't
think. It's
discover
like,
English.
for instance, like a good example of this would be like an American going to Egypt and discovering hieroglyphics. Same concept.
Yeah. But hieroglyphics is something that the ancient Egyptians created. Like hieroglyphics didn't exist outside of them.
I know, but it's still a language, right?
Right, it's still a language. I'm saying the same thing with math. Math is something that exists like because we invented it. It doesn't exist outside of us.
Did we invent logic, or are we just describing reality?
We're just describing how reality works. Yeah, we invented logic. Yeah, because we're describing how reality. Logic is the laws of logic is simply how. Excuse me. We describe how reality works. Right. This is what we see in reality, and we use logic to describe it. So yeah, we invented the laws of logic.
Like, for instance, like we didn't invent the law of identity. We just invented the language to describe the law of identity. Yeah, I think that's
What's the law of
like we
identity
didn't
again?
invent mathematics. We just used our language to describe it.
I'm not even sure how to. I'm not even sure how to respond to that or how that even makes sense.
Like the law of identity doesn't exist just because we say so.
Right.
It's something that we realized about reality, and we're using words to describe that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The law of identity is an abstract concept, right?
It's an axiomatic rule. I'm not sure if it's an abstract concept. So what
Like,
you're
it's not
saying is,
physical.
yeah. What does that have to do with God?
Yeah, abstract concepts come from a mind.
Okay.
So the fact that logic exists and
Mhm.
is fundamental to reality, yeah, that's another example. I could just use logic. I don't even have to use math, but I like to use math.
Okay. So what you're saying is that because we describing how the universe operates, therefore God. So like, are you like a pantheist or something? Like
Yeah,
like the universe is God?
there's objective laws that exist, right? And these objective laws are abstract, and abstract concepts are
Mhm.
experienced only in a mind.
But like these are not really laws, right? Like not
They
laws in the
are.
sense, not laws in the sense of like the
Oh,
Fourth
you
Amendment
cannot
or something like
obey
that.
them. Like, for instance,
But
you can't exist
right.
and not exist at the same time.
Right,
That's
exactly.
impossible.
Right, exactly.
So it
we
is.
have
It's
to
like a
exist.
fundamental law of reality, right?
Yeah, it's just it's a fundamental function of reality. Exactly. So
Right.
what I'm trying to say is that you're saying that because we can describe how reality works, reality in of itself is an abstract.
I'm saying
really
because
not getting
these
it.
laws are abstract concepts, and abstract concepts only are experienced in a mind, therefore they come from a mind. That's my argument.
But they're not abstract concepts like the like non-contradiction is a thing in reality, right? Like there's like just how you said, I
Is
can't
that a
exist and not exist at the
physical
same
thing,
time.
or is
It's
that
a physical, yes,
thing, or is it
it's
an
a
abstract thing?
yeah, it's a physical thing. I can't exist and not exist at the same time, right? I can't physically be here and not be here. That's not that's not possible as far as we know the way the universe works. I can't be sitting in my house and at the same time not be sitting in my house. That's not possible. So like it's a physical thing of how reality works. You're saying that because we came up with a language to describe that phenomena, therefore God. That's
No, I'm
nonsense.
saying there are some laws, right, where it doesn't have to necessarily have to be a physical thing, right? You're just describing physical things is all. But like
What
you
law is
can't
not? Which one
like
of these
the
things are
law of
not a physical things?
non-contradiction, that's the law of non-contradiction,
Mhm.
that's an abstract concept, right?
Not really. I can't.
Like
Just
P
like how
and
you
not
said, you
P,
can't.
that's
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
You cannot. There's something can't be something and be nothing at the same time because nothing is not a thing, right? So like this, like sure, like this are what abstract thing are you? We can use abstract. We can use like the laws of logic to describe abstract things, but that doesn't mean that these don't describe physical things either because we came up with the laws of logic to explain what we see in the universe, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying the concepts themselves aren't physical, right?
What do you mean the concepts themselves aren't physical?
Yeah, like if I go back to my math analogy, like when the sun is burning at like a particular degree, the mathematics that represents the sun burning at that particular temperature, it's not like the number itself isn't a physical thing.
Yeah, the numbers aren't physical things. Like numbers, if you are like anti-Platonist, yeah, numbers don't really exist. Sure.
Right, but the concept of how it operates it's an abstract thing.
I'm struggling to see where you're trying to get at, bro.
Yeah, it's all right. I've actually this is like a new argument that I've run, and I haven't practiced running it, so that's okay. But yeah, maybe.
All right. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and move on. I appreciate everybody who's here. Go ahead and keep liking. Let's try to get to 10K likes, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let's go ahead and try to get to 10K likes. Appreciate everybody being here. I do have a gift goal. Just for a quick commercial break. Oh, let me turn this off real quick. Okay, just for a quick commercial break, y'all. I do have a goal. I don't know if you guys see the goal right up here. Please subscribe to me. Join the cult if you'd like to join the cult. You get to see my chocolatey face every day. It's only $2.99, y'all. I'll really appreciate you if y'all join me. Go ahead, Appleplectic, go ahead and drop the stickers in the comments so people know what they get. I appreciate everyone who was up here who was being patient with me. It's gonna be Schemes, then Sandy, then Fauna, then Jimmy. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. We are in a queue, and I'm gonna try to get through this as quickly as we can. All right, Schemes, how's it going? Are you over 18, and do you disagree with what I have on the board? Schemes, you there? All righty. Sandy Stone, are you over 18 and do you disagree with what I have on the board?
I am over 18 and I do not disagree with what you have on the board. I
Based.
just wanted to join because I saw the Haitian flag in your bio.
There's not a lot of us.
And yeah, so I'm one of the few probably white guys that you'll run into that speaks Creole.
Oh, ça quoi c'est, man?
Yeah, pas un pire.
All right.
J'ai fait une mission pour un moment, yo. Et puis, pas un moment.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, gen lem pa la na Haiti cause ou konen ki ja ou konen Haiti konya li pa bon konya so mbaka ale so lem ka ale
Yeah.
mbo ale konen. All right, Schemes, are you back? Schemes is not yet back. Fauna, are you over 18 and do you disagree with anything I have on the board?
All right, I'm gonna drop off. I just want to say, like, yeah, it's cool, and
No,
speak Creole with you.
All right, no problem. I appreciate you, Sandy.
All right.
Appreciate you.
All right, Zami. Later.
I'm Izumi. All right, Fauna, go ahead. Are you over 18 and do you disagree with something I have on the board?
Yes, I am over 18 and I do.
All right, cool. Just give me one second.
I believe
Cool.
that
Just give me 1 second. Jimmy, are you over 18 and do you disagree with anything I have on the board? Damn, y'all shot at it or something? Schemes, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here, man. You can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Are you over 18 and did you disagree with something I have on the board?
Yeah, I'm 44. And I can't even see your board. I did hear you talk about like the disbelief in God. I can't even see it.
Oh, you say you can't see my board? Do you see that? Do you see it now?
No, I clearly I'm gonna need glasses for that.
Okay, you need glasses for it. All right, cool, not a problem.
Yeah, what I heard was something you were saying about not believing in God or something like that.
Yeah, cool. So I'm sorry, Fauna. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna wrap back around to you. All right, Fauna. I appreciate you being patient. All right. So schemes. What I have on the board is numbers 1 through 6. Number 1, it says there is no good evidence for a God. Number 2 is faith is not a reliable pathway to the truth. Number 3 says holy books are claims, not evidence. Number 4 is God is unnecessary for morals, purpose, etc. Number 5 says evolution has evidence, creationism doesn't. And number 6 says Q&A. Anything you want to ask me?
Yeah, the first one I think. Oh, well, really, the first one would be more like it.
Sure. You want to talk about number 1? Yeah, there is no good evidence for a God. Do you think there is?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Sure.
So,
what is that evidence?
Okay, so I mean, I will put it to you like this. So it's simply because that we don't understand who we are in the Bible, right? We don't know we're not really sure about who is referring to as far as today, right, in 2025. So because we don't understand, we kind of like throw our hands in the air about the whole thing. So you know what? It's too complicated to get it. It must be fake anyway, right? That's the overall thing I'm seeing with everybody. So if the earth itself is not enough, God actually left another a sign of his existence, right? So when it comes to the story in the book about the children of Israel, right? Some people say, oh, they don't exist no more, right? But the thing that he left was this. He said that it'll be the children of Israel will have curses on them forever, right? And he lists the curses in the book, right? So now it's up to us to figure out on this earth today in 2025, who is the children of Israel? Once you identify them and you look at the curses, if it's 40 curses, if you see 38 of them and it's matching, that was a sign. But we the people have to figure it out. But it's actually there. You know what I'm trying to say? Because simply we don't know or understand the book, don't mean that it's not real. You understand what I'm saying?
I could definitely understand the book. That's not a problem for me. The problem for me is that I have no reason to believe that anything this book says is actually true.
Yeah, okay, so that's all I'm trying to say. So, like, for instance, the earth we live on and how everything works perfectly fine in unison, right? That's created by some kind of most likely there's intelligence that put that together.
What the earth? You said there's an intelligence that put it together.
It's obvious, yeah. It's obvious that it's intelligence that put this whole.
No, it's not.
You don't think so?
No. How's that obvious?
Because, like, in order for humans to survive, other things have to be in play. So everything that's here has the intelligence to make the other thing that is connected to survive.
That doesn't mean that it was put here by some sort of intelligence. That just means that we all evolved on the planet together.
Right. So, but the thing is this. Okay. So if this happened, let's make it happen again.
What do you mean?
Right. If we saw this thing happening like this, we should be able to put it together and make it happen again somewhere else.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Right. So that's like what's the saying? Oh, well, if you made this, how Jay-Z said it. Oh, if you made Jay-Z, you make another Jay-Z. since you're so good at making Jay-Z, right? So since we're so good at this evolution thing and science, we should be able to solve a lot of problems by creating a whole other Earth.
Evolution is a
Something
process. Evolution is a process. It's not something that someone just does out of nowhere for no reason. Evolution evolution is a biological process. It takes millions of thousands of years for it to happen. Like what do you mean? I'm really struggling with what you're trying to get at here. What do you mean, like, to make it again?
Right,
Because
so-
evolution is like I said, evolution is a process, right? It takes time for it to happen. It's a natural process. It's not something that you just cobble together with a couple of chemicals.
Right, but that's what they make it seem like. It's like, oh, well, big thing.
No, they don't. You're just saying that. They don't say that evolution is something that you just cobble together. Evolution is a process. It's always been that.
Right, but where's the creativity part of it? There's no creativity. There's nothing about creativity.
Yeah, there is no creativity within evolution. Correct. Which is why, it's a
Right.
very sloppy process. This is why we have, teeth in that grow nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, this is why we have an appendix. This is why 90% of our DNA doesn't do anything. Evolution is a very sloppy, uncreative process. It's just built for survival.
Okay, so right, but if there's no if there's no intelligence involved, if there's no intelligence, then nothing will survive, and that's just plain and simple.
That's incorrect,
Nothing was-
because life is geared towards survival, right? We all life wants to survive. All life wants to maximize its chances for survival, which is what evolution is about.
Right, yeah, but whether I want to survive or not, if water is not present here, I'm finished.
Yeah, if water is not
If
here, you
water
won't
is not-
survive. Of course, we need water to survive. Of course.
So it don't matter whether I want to survive or not. Somebody had to, in order for me to survive, things have to be around me set in play by somebody that created me.
That's the problem.
What I need to survive.
You're saying that somebody put something else here. How do you know that, and how do you justify that?
I'm sorry, say that again.
You're saying that somebody, I'm getting an echo, y'all. You're saying that somebody put water here, or somebody put other things in place here for us to survive. What I'm asking is, how do you know it was a somebody?
Right, that's the whole reason why I mentioned intelligence, because intelligence, you have to. It only takes intelligence to put things in play. Because you can't just go by off of human alone. You got to look at other things first of all for the human to survive, and other things around it to keep surviving. Right, so all of it is all connected. It's not just we just focus on human and that's it. It goes all the way down to the ant and even further. You know what I'm saying? So it's
all
like that.
organisms on this planet, evolved to survive on this planet. That's all good and well. What I'm trying to ask is, how does this show that it was a deliberate agent that put things on this planet for all of us to survive? You're not making that connection. You're just simply saying that there was some sort of being, agent, something, some person that put something here for all of us to survive. And you're not explaining how exactly do you know that, or how'd you come to that conclusion? Us being here and surviving together does not show that to be the case.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't prove it anyway. Like, you can't.
It's not your turn, Alan. Go. Let schemes go, please.
The only record we have on us being here and surviving goes back to God the Creator, right? That's the one first evidence we have, right? That was here first.
But we don't have
before-
evidence of a God.
Wait a minute, hold on. So if now it's like this, if I'm gonna discredit him for one thing, right? So you put a few things together. It ain't just one thing. It's the earth and that's it. This whole the whole story of him creating the earth and everything he put in play, right? So when we get to the earth, you discredit the earth. Okay, that's one. Now you got to go to thing number 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So now if we eliminate
All right, wait, hold on,
one-
wait. You're simply saying that God created the earth or the universe, exactly. You're just asserting that to be true. The question has to be,
Okay.
how do you know that's actually true? A book saying so doesn't mean that it's true.
No. Right. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So the thing is, it's not about a book. It's about, okay, if I claim that this guy is like, let's talk about, let's say, for example, Michael Jordan, right? So yeah, he played for Chicago. He played basketball. He was the best, right? And he had a sneaker line after he retired, right? So now, if you want to discredit one thing about him, you would have to discredit the other things also. So
I know Michael Jordan exists though. Like I can go ahead and meet Michael Jordan. When it comes to to this God claim, where there's no way to show that this God actually exists. How you need to show that first. You're just asserting that it exists. You're not showing how. I know Michael Jordan exists because we can go to his games. I could go meet him if I want. I can't do the same thing for the God that you're saying exists.
No, all I'm saying is this: if there's more than one part to the claim, meaning that yeah, you talk about God and the earth. Okay, that's not enough, but you would have to discredit the other things also. So there's more to to the story than just the earth. There's other things that was in play that exist.
All right, like what?
You would have to do. Like it's a collection of things you would have to discredit.
Like what?
So like I was saying, so okay, so if it's the earth, then it's the human, then the story of the human line.
All right, but these are just stories, bro. Like Adam and Eve is not real. You understand that, right? Like there's no evidence of Adam and Eve.
By who?
By science.
By the people that don't understand the book, you're saying?
No, well, like you just can't go off of saying that I believe this book. How do we actually show the book is true? And when we actually do try looking to see if there's any evidence of an Adam and Eve, we don't find any. So apparently it's not true. Right. And not only that, two humans can't create billions of humans. Like incest is a thing, right? Like your genes your family line will rot away very, very quickly.
Right. So this is the thing. Like I was saying, the understanding of the book. So the story that they have out is an incomplete story that the scientists is going by. They're the ones that's telling you that they don't exist because they simply didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't understand that it was more than Adam and Eve at the time.
Okay. Okay. So prove it.
They didn't understand.
Okay, so you're saying that Adam and Eve actually were real people?
Yes, and it was more than just them on the earth too.
Cool. Prove it.
What do you mean prove it?
Prove it.
See, that's the whole point. The whole point is this. So if I want to say prove it, that means me talking to you right now, we are in existence. There you go. That's a human race.
Right. That doesn't show that Adam and Eve existed.
They don't show.
Right. Me and you speaking together does not show that Adam and Eve were actually existed. It doesn't show that.
Okay, but that means somebody was there.
No, it doesn't.
A person. So it was an empty earth.
No, it wasn't an empty earth. We all existed, right? And we all evolved on this planet. But that doesn't mean that what this book says is true. Just because we're the human race right now, it doesn't mean what this book says is actually true. Because guess what? There are other religions out there that have different creation stories that are different from that book. Why don't we believe those books?
Right, because those books are when they stand up against the Bible, they eliminate themselves.
No, they don't.
You will actually have to put them against each other to see.
You will have to put them against each other and see. All right. So when we put them against each other, all we see is that they both make claims that they can't prove. The Bhagavad Gita makes claims that they can't prove. The Quran makes claims that they can't prove. The Book of Mormon has claims that they can't prove. Shintoism has claims that it can't prove. Voodoo has claims that it can't prove. All of these books, when you put them against each other, they all make claims that they cannot prove.
Okay, so now,
including the Bible makes claims that it cannot prove, that are unsubstantiated.
Now,
Adam and Eve is unsubstantiated. Noah's Ark is unsubstantiated. Okay, the Tower of Babel is unsubstantiated. All of it.
Okay, so I mentioned to you about curses. What do you think about curses?
Curses don't exist.
Could you get this stupid dude out of here?
Go ahead and try to curse me right now.
Debate someone who actually has a brain, man.
Give me a second, Dinkus. Give me a second.
That? Why?
Yeah, try to go ahead and curse me right now. Why do I believe curses don't exist?
I don't have the gift to do that, but I do know somebody who do.
Okay, go ahead and call that. Okay, do me a favor then. Go ahead and call that person. Tell them I'm cursing me right now. All right, guys. We're gonna go ahead and move on. I do appreciate you all being here. We are at 10K likes right now. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to more guests. I appreciate you guys all. If you're watching me on YouTube, go ahead and please like, comment, share, subscribe. I appreciate you guys. You guys are wonderful. If you gave me a super chat on the Deconstruction Junction, I'm on my StreamYard right now, so I can't read it. I can't bring it up, but I will get to it in a second. I'm just gonna go ahead and speak to some of our other guests right now. If you're watching me on my personal YouTube channel, I do appreciate you. Ding dong, you're always here. Shout out to Burns. Shout out to Jots and Titles. You guys are wonderful. Please, if you would like to subscribe to me on TikTok, it's only $2.99. Please subscribe to me, and you can join the cult. I appreciate y'all. All right, Fauna, how's it going? You said that you were over 18 and you disagreed with something that I had on the board. What did you disagree with?
So this may sound a bit weird, but I actually would argue that science is the proof that there is a God.
How
And
so?
maybe not so much a God in the way that most people would think of it. But like I said, it's a little strange. I've never really ran into anybody with my same faith-based beliefs. But like, how do we know? Well, like you said earlier, this about the singularity, and well, the big bang, and it went boom, and then apparently our universe is still expanding. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that one day they believe that eventually it'll expand and then rubber band back into a big boom, and then do another big boom. How do we know that somebody didn't get to a certain enlightenment to the point where they could control the aspects of science like that? Does that make sense?
No.
Sorry.
Okay, so so I understand what you're talking about. You're talking about like the bang and crunch, right? The big bang, big crunch. And how do we know that there's like some sort of immortal person that's been controlling it? I guess we won't know, but there's not really a good reason to believe that, right?
Yeah, but I believe that the fact that we're able to use science to explain things that even in the past we thought as supernatural, like at a point in time, we really believed that water plus wheat equaled mice.
Right.
We didn't realize that it was because the wheat
attracted mice,
disintegrated, and then the mouse. Yeah. So like the cursing, as he was talking about, there's proof that in the human body we have electrical fields and stuff. And how do we know that there aren't faith-based product things that were that sorry, I'm trying to I do apologize. Like crystals being able to work the way that they do with the human body, they can bounce off of wavelengths and all that fun stuff. I don't understand the fundamental science of it, but it works for some reason.
It does not.
And
they've already tested this. It does not. Crystals are just pretty rocks.
It doesn't?
It does not. Crystals, they've already tested this dozens of times. Crystals are just pretty rocks. They don't do anything. Yeah, there's no human wavelengths that they bounce off of or vibrate to.
Thank you.
Yeah, that does happen.
Well, what about magnets? Or
now magnets are real. Sure.
Let me go back. Sorry, let me go back. The fact that there is an explanation to how the universe was created kind of can point to that it could have been a person. The best way to explain it was the way my husband explained it. How do we know that there's not, and maybe it's not an immortal being, but it's a being that we don't understand fundamentally, that's looking at us like a sandbox.
Yeah, sure. Like
And
I do like
was
that
playing
type of.
around, created the Big Bang.
I do
Yeah,
like
and
that.
it could be because I watched too much Stargate.
No, that's fine. Like there are thought experiments out there, right? Like for example, the fishbowl thought experiment. Like of the fish inside the fishbowl, that entire thing is their world, their universe. They can't comprehend us because we're too complex for the type of brain that they have, right? So they can't.
Exactly.
Right. So some like we could be in a fishbowl and be being looked at by something that we don't understand, right? Like sure, that's a good thought experiment. I don't know if something like that is actually real, and right now I don't have a reason to believe that. So it's just a thought experiment that's interesting, but I don't think about it much.
Also, in the Bible, and I know the Bible is I believe that the Bible is a group of stories created by man to try to explain a concept that they probably didn't understand at that time, and it's lasted for hundreds of years because it hits home with so many people. But in the Bible at the beginning, he didn't say that it says that God created man, then he created Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, we had a point in time where we had, what was the name? Neanderthals, and then we had the next evolution that seemed to pop out of nowhere.
Neanderthals and
how do we know
modern
that wasn't God taking those?
Well, Neanderthals, from what we can understand, Neanderthals, Homo sapiens, and Decanovans all existed at the same time, right? We were just more Homo sapiens, like us. We were just more successful than the Neanderthals and the Decanovans. And Australopithecus, I can never explain. I can never say that word. But the things that existed at the same time, I think, were modern man, Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, and Decanovans, and we were just more successful than them. We had it's not that we had better brain power, we kind of just outbreeded them and had better tools, right? So yeah, exactly. So it's not that they just disappeared. Like for example, the Neanderthals,
survival of the fittest.
Hold on, yeah, survival of the fittest. Yeah. So for example, the Neanderthals disappeared, if I'm not mistaken, about 60,000 years ago, and in the length of time, that's not that long ago, right? Because human civilization didn't begin until like 12,000 years ago when we finally figured out agriculture. So so for a very long time, we all interacted with each other, which is why a lot of Europeans have Neanderthal DNA. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where they didn't just disappear off the face of the earth. We all kind of existed around at the same time, and we outcompeted them.
If you're gonna go that route,
from
about Pangea.
Hold on, Burns. It's not your turn yet. It's gonna be Dingus first, and then you. Go ahead, Fauna.
The last information that I had was and like I said, you can correct me if I'm wrong. This is all from personal study. Was that there were the Neanderthals, and then Homo sapiens came out, and they commingled. I am so sorry. I just lost that thought.
Not a problem.
I apologize.
Not a problem. All right, Fauna, I do have to go ahead and move on. I do appreciate you being up. I do appreciate you all being up. Eden or Edge, I'm not sure what your name is. I've already invited you up twice. I don't know why you won't come up and actually discuss, but I actually like to have the discussions with people. We're gonna go with Dingus, Trevor, and then Burns. You'll be my last guest. All right, Dingus, are you over 18, and do you disagree with anything I have on the board?
Yeah, I'm over 18. I'm 30, and I mean, it's not that I necessarily disagree with you in the sense that that I think I understand it fully. I disagree with you in the sense that I have a different opinion.
Yeah, sure.
That's
Okay,
where I stand.
Sure. Give me 1 second.
So,
give me 1 second. Trevor, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Are you over 18, and do you disagree with anything I have on the board?
Yes, I am over 18, and I would say Yeah, I probably disagree with what you have on the board.
Gotcha. And Burns, I already know that you disagree with what I have on the board, but are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 42.
Gotcha. All right, Dingus, you said you had some difference of opinion. Sure, shoot.
Yep.
What did you want to say?
So for me,
Mhm.
I think, at least for the first point, number one, that there is no good evidence for God. I think that this is only partially true, right? Obviously, there's no way to truly prove this, but everything that exists typically will have a cause, right? So the universe began to exist, and the universe had a
Has a
cause.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we ran this an hour ago, but yeah, I think we could all agree that the universe had some sort of cause. My issue with the God position is that people would say that cause necessarily has to be some sort of supernatural agent, and we have no evidence for that. And not only that, the cause of the universe could be a natural force that we don't understand yet, right? Like, for example, volcanoes and rain have a cause, but those causes aren't supernatural. They're not gods. Nothing that we've discovered as part of our universe has never had a supernatural explanation. So why would the universe itself have one?
Wouldn't you say that the creation of a whole entire universe is a lot more complex than rain?
Sure, but that doesn't make it a supernatural
It leads
cause,
into
right?
the argument better, though, right? Like,
No.
if we're looking at it logically,
No.
if something has more variables, does that mean it's more likely more complex and could be something more than what you would initially think it is?
No, because because like earthquakes are more complicated than rain, but that doesn't mean that earthquakes are supernatural.
Once again, where there's levels, right?
Yeah,
So
we're talking
rain,
about the
earthquakes,
entire.
these are all things that are on Earth, one planet,
Mhm.
in a whole entire solar system, right? You
Right,
know how
right.
many planets and galaxies, and we're in one galaxy.
Sure.
And that galaxy is a small, tiny little percentage of the whole entire universe.
Right, right, but then
And
something
you're
being
talking about rain and volcanoes on Earth,
something being complex does not mean that it has to be something supernatural or an agent behind it.
but it gives it more likelihood. And once again, my point isn't debating saying it is. I'm saying it's more likely to be.
I don't think
That's
so.
the idea.
I don't think so,
Debate
because
against it. How would it be less likely if it has more variables?
just because it has more variables does not make it more likely to be an agent.
That's wrong.
No, that's right.
All right, we can agree to disagree there. We're not going to see eye to eye. That's okay.
Right,
We don't have to
but
agree.
it comes down to the same thing that I said. Every single thing that we've discovered about our universe has always been natural.
You only
Every single
used
thing.
Earth. You only used Earth. You didn't say universe. You used two things that we have on Earth.
Right,
And a couple other planets.
Right, I
too,
use
but not,
I use things that we have. I use things that we have on Earth because it's more relative, right? Because we can understand that I can't.
our
None of us.
universe would be
Right.
relative to God, so it's not more relative.
Right, but you have to show that a God exists first. You just can't say that that our universe is relative to God. You have to show that one exists first.
I don't have to prove God exists to know that it's more likely that a universe created with many different things has a higher likelihood of being interdivine, essentially, or
How
to have
do
divinity.
you show that to be true?
Because variables mean that there's more options, essentially, or there's more probability that there is more things.
There'll probably be more things of what?
Of the likelihood of different things. It could be anything. It depends on what it is, but if we're talking directly about God, then it increases the chance and likelihood of it being directly involved with that thing.
Why?
Because there's more, it's literally in what I'm just saying. There's more
See the circle?
more options, right? There's more ideas, there's more things that we don't understand, and
Yeah.
there's a lot that
Could it also be a
there.
simulation created by aliens?
It could be. And if you want to believe that, that would be almost the same likelihood as believing in God in your eyes, right?
Yeah.
So what do you believe personally?
I don't know what created this universe. I have no clue.
But what do you believe?
Believe about what?
You don't know, but do you have any personal beliefs?
No. When it comes to the creation of the universe?
So you just say you
Hold on,
don't
wait,
know, and
dingus,
that's
dingus.
it.
Hold on, wait a second. When it comes to the creation of the universe, are you asking me about that? About beliefs on that?
When it comes to whether or not the creation of the universe has to deal with a god or not, is more in line of what I'm thinking.
I'm more of a do not know, but I don't think that's likely.
What would be more likely?
A natural process that we don't understand.
So something you don't understand is more likely
Yes.
to be in line with something else that we also don't understand.
Yes. Wait, hold on.
That was Peter.
It's more in line with. Wait, hold on, Dingus. You saying that's more in line with something else that we don't understand? So you saying that you don't understand?
Do you think
this
we
God
fully
character?
understand the Big Bang Theory?
Wait.
Fully?
Wait.
Or do you think it's
wait? Hold on, Dingus.
Because that's what I'm comparing.
Dingus.
I'm
Let's
comparing
go back.
the Big Bang. To
Dingus,
God.
let's
They're
go.
both
Hold on.
theories,
Let's
correct?
go back. Because I'm trying to understand exactly what you're saying. So when it comes to this universe, the fact this universe will like how this universe came to be, right? Yeah, sure. I think it's likely that it's a natural process that we don't understand. And you said that that's as likely as something else that we don't understand. What was that something else you're talking about?
It could be any sort of religion or God. Once again, I'm not debating in the idea that I believe in God. I never once said this, right?
Right.
So
I'm not saying that you said that. I'm just trying to get what your point is.
I'm debating with the first point that there is no good evidence for a God, because that's not true. It's not that it's directly evidence. It's that there's no contrary evidence to support against it fully. Both ideas are built in the process of human understanding and what we think we know. Correct. Science obviously has a lot of weight to it.
Hold on, wait. I'm very lost. So your point is that it's not necessarily a God, but it's likely a God just because things are complex.
Not just because things are complex, but because there's a lot that we do not understand.
That's not good evidence.
Pure complexity.
Okay, so you agree with my number one prevalence? That's not good evidence. Just because we don't understand it. Hold on, wait.
How would you define?
Let me finish. Just because we don't understand it doesn't mean there's a God behind it, and you agreed with that. So it's simply saying that it's complex, therefore it could be a God. Sure, to be philosophically correct, to be colloquially correct, sure, anything is possible. It could be a God. It could also be genies. Are you saying it's likely a genie just because it's more option? No.
Well, you're claiming that you don't have a belief at all.
What you're saying,
so
hold on, wait, ding. Listen to what I'm saying. You just,
I know what you're
right. Okay. So if you're listening to what I'm saying, then you don't talk. So if we both agree. So honestly, we both agree with my number one point that I have up here, because
I'm saying there's no good evidence for either God or disproving it or proving it. That's
I never said
simple for you.
Right. Okay. But what I have up here is not saying that this disproves God, right?
You're saying there's no good evidence for a God,
and you agree with that because something because we don't know what happened, what made this universe, does not mean that there's a God exists. And you agreed with that, so it's not a good evidence.
Debate. That's only one of my points, right? So I have ideas that could lead to the idea that there is a God. It may not be in your eyes good evidence because of what you believe in, right? But we can go into it anyway. So the physical constraints of gravity, essentially cosmological constants. If you, I don't know, when you went to college or no?
Yeah, you're talking about the fine tuning argument.
Kind of. It's more likely that there's an overwhelmingly improbable idea that without intelligent design, the universe would not exist. Most likely.
That's not what the fine tuning. That's not what fine tuning says. Fine tuning says that our universe.
That's not my argument. Then that's what you brought up. Then my what I'm saying is that a multiverse has no evidence.
Right.
Objective moral value exists. Rape, genocide, cruelty, all of that stuff, right? They're not preferences, but without a God, there's no basis for objective morality. There's no basis for truth. So it's I think it's kind of weird that you come on here, right? But you bring these points up, but you don't really have your own. You don't have a belief or a point to make. You just kind of sitting in limbo.
I have beliefs.
What are they?
About what? Give me a subject.
Your points on the screen.
Yeah, I don't believe in a God.
Yeah. No, go by. I want to hear your. You said you have ideas and beliefs. I want to hear your ideas and beliefs for your own points.
About what?
No,
they're on the screen. There is no good evidence for God. Faith is not reliably.
Those are my beliefs.
Truth. Holy books
are claims, not evidence. Those are my beliefs.
Where does that belief come from?
Myself.
But where does that come from?
Myself.
It just comes from nothing. You thought of that yourself for no reason at all. There's no outside prevalent forces or influences that are giving you these ideas. It's just your own. You're like Albert Einstein, right? You build your own theory of relativity here, right?
Dingus, are you being serious right now?
Oh, I'm being very serious. You got no point.
Yeah, I do.
Dingus, can I ask you?
No, you can't. It's not your turn. So
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
So Dingus, Dingus, be quiet for a second. All right. I'm not sure what you want me to tell you. I have 6 points on. I have 6 positions on the board. All right. Those are my positions. Do you want to know how I came to those positions?
That's what I'm asking you.
Okay. So you should have asked that.
No, I asked it.
No, you did
said it
not.
In a different way.
You did not. You just said
What
I have
did I
no
say?
point. You
What
just
did I
said
say?
you insulted me. You just said I had no
Before
point.
that. Before that.
You just said I had no point. That's all you've
What
been
did
saying.
I say before that?
You were
can't
saying
remember,
you were
can
saying
you?
anything about things about objective morality, et cetera, et
I
cetera.
said give points for each of those 5 points.
Right,
Your
but-
personal beliefs and thoughts, and then you
But,
said.
but you didn't
that
say.
just
But
believe it
what you
because
said. What you
believe
said.
it,
What you
and that
said.
it doesn't come from anything.
Shut the
outside of
fuck
it,
up. This is
right?
my live.
Are you mad?
Yes, I am mad. Shut up. So when it comes to what I believe, the reason why I came to the point that there is no good evidence for a God is because number one, there was no scientific evidence, and all the arguments I heard of a God were not good. All right, that's
What
number
are those
one.
arguments?
Number two, when I say faith is not a reliable pathway to truth, we know that faith is not a reliable pathway to truth because there are people who have faith in things that we know were absolutely not correct. Number three, holy books are claims, not evidence. That should be obvious. These things just claim these things to be true. When we look into them to see if they actually are true, we see many of them are not. So there are claims,
Many.
they are not
Well,
evidence,
not all.
such as the Tower of Babel, such as Noah's Ark, such as Adam and Eve. There is
How
no
about the
evidence for those
evidence that
things. They're
is
just
true?
claims. When I
How
say
about the
God is
evidence that is
unnecessary
proven?
for morals and purpose, is because we can obviously have morals and purpose without having a God, right? And number five, evolution has evidence, creationism
Prove
doesn't.
that- prove
This
what
is
you just
obvious
said. Prove
that
that you can have
evolution
morals and
has
purpose without a
evolution has evidence, and the biblical creation story does not have evidence. We have evidence in paleontology, we have evidence in genetics, we have evidence in biology. So evolution has evidence, the creation story does not. So which one of these do you want to talk about?
So the names, places, and rulers and cultures mentioned in scripture.
I said the claims. I'll talk about the supernatural. I said the supernatural. Okay, let me make it clear then. The supernatural claims. The supernatural claims. The supernatural claims that the Bible makes are just claims. They are not evidence of anything. All right. So we know that David was a real person. We know that Solomon was probably real. Even Jephthah could have been real. That doesn't mean the supernatural stories around them were real. Correct or incorrect?
Open your eyes, my friend.
So David could have been real and Solomon could have been real. That doesn't mean that the supernatural stories around them are real. Jesus is probably real. That doesn't mean that he walked on water, correct?
Holy books are claims, not evidence.
That doesn't mean he
That's what that
walked on
says.
water, correct?
You're once again you're handpicking, right?
All
choosing what
right.
you want to look at.
All right. So Trevor, what did you disagree with that I have on the board?
Hey, give me 1 second. I'm walking away from my unruly children.
Sure.
I think so. I'll start off by saying I am a Christian. I've been so for I don't know some amount of years now.
Congrats, Trevor. We love you.
Thank you.
Power to you.
So the one I would touch on is that there is no evidence for God. I was listening to a lot of the arguments, which I think were poor from our side. It is what it is. What got me, because I was an atheist before, was the have you ever heard of the minimal facts argument by Gary Habermas?
No.
So
I think he got a call, y'all. Give him a second. You back, Trevor?
did you need me to? Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. If you swipe away, we can't hear you.
Oh, got it. Okay. So it is what he coined as the minimal facts argument. Historians on both sides of the aisle, both secular and non-secular, will believe in these minimal facts to say that they were true historical facts. And then from there, we can derive, not prove, but we can derive beyond a reasonable doubt that Jesus did rise from the dead. Fact one being that, there was a man named Jesus of Nazareth who lived in the, first century, died around 30 AD. That same man was crucified by the Romans. He did have followers that believed to have seen a risen Jesus.
Sure.
And those same followers, a few of them, died pretty horrendous deaths in claim to worshiping and believing they saw him rise from the dead.
Sure.
So when it comes to your atheist perspective, are you looking for irrefutable proof that God exists, or are you looking just beyond a reasonable doubt?
Irrefutable proof that God exists and that Jesus rose from the dead. Because all the things that you told me right there are facts. Jesus was probably a real person, crucified by the Romans. There are people who believe that he rose from the dead. None of that shows that he actually did.
Yeah. Maybe contrary to popular Christian belief, I don't think you'll ever find that then. I don't think in all my study, you cannot 100% find irrefutable evidence that God exists, and specifically the God of this Bible.
Yeah, right. So exactly. So if that's the case, then there's no reason to believe it.
I wouldn't say there's no reason. We can weigh the pros and cons, or we can weigh the arguments between both sides. I mean, I've seen people come on here and say X, Y, and Z about science. I mean, there's nothing wrong with science. It's not in opposition to religion. Science is a methodology on how to prove something. It's not something that Christians should be afraid of. And it's unfortunate that we are.
Right, exactly. So that's kind of like the atheist position, right? If we cannot show something to be true, there's really no reason to believe it, right? So now if because I agree with everything that you said, that this guy lived and people believe that they saw him rise from the dead. But how do we show that he actually did happen to rise from the dead? Because if we go with over to onto the east, there are people who believe that that Buddha reached like enlightenment and sat
Nirvana.
Nirvana, and sat under a tree for 10-15 years without eating, right? So there are people who believe that, and we know Buddha exists, or he did exist. So it's like, should we believe that? You know, it's one of those things where it's like, just because people believe something to be true doesn't mean that what they believe actually is true.
Well, I mean, but with the beginning of your argument, even you saying that if you can't believe something to be 100% true, then you're not going to believe in it. Well, you can't truly prove that there is no God either, right? You can take that argument both ways. You can say 100% there is a God, or I can tell you need to prove 100% there isn't a God. And neither one of those is ever going to give you sufficient evidence either way. So how could you then claim one side as truth and reject the other?
Well, atheism is just a lack of belief in a God. I'm not a strong atheist, or I'm what they call a weak atheist, meaning saying I don't believe in one, but I'm not simply saying that there is one, that there is one that does not exist, like, at all. Just to be like, colloquially and philosophically correct, we can say that sure, one is possible to exist, but until we have strong evidence of that being the case, there's no reason to believe it. Just like Santa Claus.
Yeah. I can understand that. Yeah, I think the other thing I wanted to bring up too, I think Christians give it a bad light, and it's unfortunate the way we approach the Bible and how we look at it. So in one of the previous discussions you had, they're talking about Adam and Eve, and you mentioned that how could they possibly be the first people on earth? And the Bible is actually relatively clear that they're not. Adam and Eve had two sons? One of them killed the other one, and then the other one got sent out, right? He went to the land of Uz, and he found himself a wife.
So
we know that the world had more than just two people in it. Now, the thing is, and here's the issue when we look at the Bible, is people cherry pick what they want to believe in. They choose what they want to be history, and then they choose what they don't want to be history.
I agree.
Bible is not just one book. It's made up of 66, depending on, which one you're looking at, whether you're looking at
correct
the current canon. A lot of it is metaphor. A lot of it is simile, allegory. A lot of it is poetry. Some is history.
Hey, you know something, Trevor? You are exactly in my position. That's how I was in my early 20s when I realized all this. A lot of this is just history. A lot of it is just legendary history, like historical fiction. A lot of it is poetry and parables. Yeah, that's exactly where I was in my early 20s and how I got to
Mhm.
where I am today. So I think you're heading into to my position. I don't want to force you to go there, but I think you're heading to
Actually,
my position
I
little by
came
little.
from your position already.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah,
What
you just got a hold of me.
what convinced
Trust
you
me,
that
I
it
can
was
tell you
real?
that I can. It was so for me. I was an atheist. I had a buddy of mine. He was a Christian. Him and I would debate constantly. We debate about creation. We debate about morality. We debate about different religions, all this different stuff.
Mhm.
And what I looked into the historicity of Jesus himself. I said, okay, you know what? Fine. I'll posit to you that human beings themselves cannot create an objective morality. It can only come from a higher power. We can debate that later, but I don't believe human beings can create. We can maybe create a decent enough morality, but human beings. We are what we are, and we're fallible creatures.
Yeah,
and at any
sure.
one
I mean, human beings are fallible creatures, right? But there are people who make a case for a secular system that is objectively moral, right? Like objective moral systems without a God, and all has to do with human survival and things that we don't prefer going against that, right? So that's how they do their objective morality. I think I kind of screwed that one up. You can look up Alex O'Connor on YouTube. He
I'm
knows
familiar
how
with
to do it.
Alex.
Yeah, so he can explain like how an objective morality can work without a God. Me personally, I do believe that all morals are subjective, but I also think that everyone agrees with my moral subjectivity. Essentially, the way that I describe what's moral is anything that increases human well-being, equality, degrees of harm, and something else I kind of forgot, but because I can't think of it right now. But I think everyone kind of agrees with those things, right? Like we agree that there are things that cause significant amount of human harm, so it's preferable to not do it if you want to live in a society, right? I think we all agree that things that are unequal causes a worse society, so none of us want to live in that. You see what I'm saying? So if most people agree with those things, or basically all of us kind of agree with those things, even in countries where things seem unequal, you know what I mean? But they believe in equality. They're just brainwashed to see inequality for someone else as equality. We will all like come to the point of we want to live in a better society. We want to live in a good society for everyone, for the most amount of people at least, which is why now every single nation would typically say that slavery is not okay, because a group of people being in that type of situation is unfair and decreases human rights and decreases equality and increases harm. So we will all be against it, right? So these are some of the things that I think that as a society, as human beings, we all would agree with, and I decide those things without having a God. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say that we don't really need a God for morals, because like I'm not invoking a God at all, and I'm pretty sure everything that I just said you would agree with, and there's no God involved at all.
I definitely understand what you're saying. So from an individual perspective, you don't have to. I would say you probably wouldn't need to invoke a God for individual morals that align, I would say with good, right? And the definition of my good again comes from God. But the issue that you have with a society like that is not everyone's going to play by the rules. So what do you do then?
They can't be part of the society. And this has happened. This has been the case every single time. But like, yeah, this has been the case every single time. Every time we want to create a just, robust, happy, productive society, and people go against that, we make sure that they're not part of our society. And if there's a huge country that goes against that, such as the Mustache Man in 1945 Germany, the entire world goes against it. You see what I'm saying? Because we just don't want to live in that type of world. You see what I mean?
So you hit the nail on the head, in my opinion. Now, if they don't want to play by the rules, you don't let them into society. And the way that I would look at it here is this life that we're living. Again, I don't believe that it's finite. I believe that we are given the opportunity to reach immortality if we follow Jesus in a forever living community in order to live and prosper in that, you have to abide by the set of rules that's given. Exactly what you said. If they don't abide by the community rules, they have to go. And that's exactly what God is saying, is if you don't want to abide by my rules, then you have to go. Because if somebody doesn't abide by those rules, everlasting life it's not sustainable. You can't do it.
Okay, sure. The only issue that that I have with that is that number one, some of the rules he gave, especially to the ancient Israelites, you know, they made society worse. So seems kind of hypocritical. But number two, he gives me no evidence that he even exists first. So why would I follow rules someone that I don't know exists?
Let's and I understand that. I don't think I'll be able to change your mind about that. But I would like to talk on the rules that he gave the ancient Israelites. What ones were bad?
Slavery.
So, and I know a lot of people kind of picked that one up. Back in the day, slavery was already rampant. It was already a thing. But if we look at the rules that God gave, what happens after 7 years?
For who?
For the slave.
The foreign slave or the Hebrew slave?
Either.
The Hebrew slave goes free if they're a male. The foreign slave is a slave for life. Leviticus 25:44 makes it very clear.
I'd have to change screens to look. So, and again, I understand where you're coming from, and I would agree with you. The rules that were in place, and this is where we'd have to get into the New Testament and really talk about what Jesus brought with him. But the rules that were in place was a society for that time. And even all the unjust they did, God was still trying to nudge them into the correct direction. He couldn't just come down. I mean, technically God could. He couldn't come down, slap their face and say, this is what you're going to do. But he spent thousands of years trying to work with a group of people who ultimately failed. They did. The story, the biblical story, the original Hebrews, all of them messed up. All of them. You had Adam messed up. Noah messed up. Abraham messed up. David messed up. They all messed up. They all did bad things, right? These rules, which we're no longer held by, they were attempting to steer society into the right direction, whether successful or not. That's humans. Again, they're fallible. They mess up.
You know what the problem I have was with that? Because there are other rules in the Bible that God gives a hard line of, you cannot do this. You shall not do this. And the consequences of if you do that is unaliving, basically. Like there's a hard line rule. He could have just done the same thing for slavery, right? He could just said, all right, I know this is something that you guys have been doing for thousands of years, but we're not doing that anymore. That's it. And I'm the Lord your God. If you do this, you'll be unalived. He could have done that and just didn't. Why not?
I don't know the mind of God. I can't tell you.
Right. So that's always been my issue with that. Like, I understand exactly what y'all trying to say. Yeah, I mean, I do get it, and I'm empathetic towards it. It's just that there's still a big question out there of you said that you'll unalive people for this thing, and that seems kind of petty compared to slavery. Just couldn't understand for slavery.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you on that one.
No, it's all good. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. I don't hold people feet to the fire if they say I don't know the answer to that. That's fine. Like guess we'll find out if he does exist, right?
Yeah, we will. We will.
All right, Trevor. We have about 1 minute left. You have anything else?
No, I'm good. You can move on to the next person.
Not a problem. Hey, I appreciate you, Trevor. You have a good night, bro.
All right, you as well.
Alrighty. All right. So as you can see, guys, I actually can have a good, honest discussion if you are willing to have one with me. All right, Eric, I appreciate you being patient with me in the YouTube queue. You're going to be my last guest, all right? Because I do got to get out of here, and because my wife is gonna kick my ass for me being on stream for so long. All right, Hoop Downfall, are you there? Are you over 18? And do you disagree with anything I have on the board?
I just think that there is something out there and a reason why we're here, because I believe that if there was nothing, why did it not just stay nothing forever? Why did the universe come? Why did life come into existence? All this stuff. especially with the Big Bang, I do think it's false because I don't know how a bang comes from nothing unless something had to be there to create the Big Bang,
Okay.
which is what
Okay,
I
cool. Two
believe.
things. Number one, no one says the Big Bang came from nothing. And number two, when you say that you think that we could have came from somewhere, right? Yeah, sure. The mystery of existence, why is there something rather than nothing? That's one of the biggest mysteries of philosophy and science, right? We really don't know. That doesn't mean that a God exists, though, just because we don't know the answer.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I'm just talking about like if there is nothing, why and what's the reasoning of why we are here? Why did it not just
Stay
stay
nothing. We don't know.
nothing?
We don't know. Why is there something rather than nothing is a big mystery in
But
science and philosophy and everything. But I'll also say that nothingness doesn't exist. There's no such thing as nothing. Because let me ask you a question. If you were able to point to nothing, what does it become?
nothing.
No, it becomes something.
No.
If you can detect nothing, if you can point to nothing, it becomes something. So there's no such thing as nothing.
How would that work?
What do you mean? How would that
Is there,
work?
no, because
What I'm saying is
look, yeah,
nothingness is not a thing. Like there's no such thing as nothing. There always
Here.
has to be something. Like
Here, these
even
are the two things.
like for example, they did an experiment of a vacuum, right? They tried to do a true vacuum, like scientists did this in CERN. They tried to do a true vacuum, meaning no particles, no atoms, just a vacuum. And then they tried to look into it, and guess what they found? They found that elementary particles like leptons, quarks, stuff like that, they were popping in and out of existence in the Planck time, quantum foam. Essentially, that's what they discovered. So even when they try to do absolute nothingness, there was something there. So nothingness is not a thing. That's how they were able to actually prove that nothingness doesn't exist. There always is something.
So here, these are the two things that I believe are certain. There's either the universe has always been here, okay, like no one knows, like there's no beginning of it, it's just always been here, or there is a creator and reason why we are here, okay, because if there was nothing, or if there's those little particles that you can count, if there was nothing, no planets in the universe, no signs of life, no nothing, why did it not just stay like that?
Well, we don't know.
And
but that
those
doesn't necessarily
particles,
mean that a God exists.
how no, I know that, but what, so are you saying, do you believe in, let's just say the Big Bang, let's just say that?
Yeah, sure.
Do
There's
you believe
evidence of
that
the Big
there's-
Bang.
Okay, so do you think those particles created the Big Bang, those explosion?
Yeah, could have.
life?
When it comes to that, that's like quantum mechanics. You should talk to like a physicist about that because I won't be able to give you a proper answer, and the answer that I give you could be wrong. So you should talk to a physicist about that. But as far as we know, the singularity is where our universe expanded from, right? That's where space, time, and matter expanded from. Correct. And from what we are able to ascertain, it came from a hot, dense state. That state, exactly what it was and how do we describe it, we don't have the language to. You know what I mean? And we don't have the science to. We don't. Our physics breaks down at T-1. We don't have the language to explain exactly what that state was. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
And that's where all the particles and matter and time and space, as far as we know, that's where it comes from. But that state is something, right? What made it expand? We have no clue. We don't know. But we do know that there is evidence of that expansion from the cosmic microwave background radiation.
But also, I also think it is better to believe in a God because of Pascal's wager. If you're an atheist and say there is nothing after death, you don't lose anything, you don't gain anything. You just cease to exist. But if there is something after death, you lose. So let's just say God. Okay, let's say he exists. If you die not believing in accepting a God in your life, whatever is after, like a paradise and like a heaven or hell, you won't get to experience that eternal life. So me personally, and even if you are a believer and there is nothing after death, you don't lose or gain anything. You just cease to exist. Yeah, it just proves that
Have
during
you
your lifetime you were wrong, and everyone experiences the same thing.
right? Have you heard responses to Pascal's wager?
No.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to give you one. So you're saying that if it's better to believe just in case there is a God, correct?
Yeah,
Which one?
just a God in general. There is no like no God, like no Christian God, just a God in general.
All right. So if it's just a God in general, how do you know that one has paradise?
We will find out, because if we're on this earth for a reason, and with all the religions, okay.
Wait,
they
hold
all
on.
have
If
to- they all
you're still running into the same problem, because if you're gonna say like a God in general, what if the Hindus are right, but you just believe in a general God when you should have believed in Brahma?
if you just accept God, not a God, if you just accept God into your life and you believe that God exists,
Which one?
I'm pretty a God. You
Which
believe in
one?
God.
Which one?
You believe in God.
Which
Okay, if there's
one? Again, I'm gonna
if
keep
there-
asking this until you
if-
answer which one, because you just keep saying a general one. But what if Brahma is
there-
correct? Then the general one is
how-
incorrect.
How were those gods? If there's multiple gods, how there had to be one of them to create all of them,
How you know that?
because it makes logical sense.
No, it doesn't. What created that one?
What created what? The God?
What created the one that what created the God that created all the other gods?
There's always something that has always existed, like you said, with those particles in space and in the space that you said there. You said there's
How do
always
you know
something
that's a
that
God?
has existed.
Cool. How do you know it's a God?
How do you know it's a God?
Yep.
I never said the particles are God.
Okay, cool. So something had to always exist, and all the other gods of all the other religion had to be created by another God. So that God didn't have to have any type of creation in of itself, like it just existed because it always existed.
Repeat.
Okay, so all the other so according to Pascal's wager that you're saying, when I asked you which God, you're just saying a general one, and I said, but we can't believe in the general one because the Hindus are right, and Brahma is the correct one and not the general one. You said that all these 3,000, 4,000 gods that humanity created, there had to be one that created all of them. And I asked you which one created that one, and you said that one always existed, right?
There has to be one of them that has always existed, at least one of them.
How you know that?
Because if none of them had a creator, they wouldn't have existed.
Exactly. So we can say they don't exist, right? We know for a fact that the Egyptians' gods do not exist.
How?
The Shinto gods too.
Can you disprove that or prove that they don't exist?
Yeah, the sun is in space. It's not on top of an eagle.
No, can you prove or disprove that there is a God in general?
Can I disprove there's a God in general?
No, can you I said, can you disprove or prove that there's a God?
Yeah. No, I can't.
So it's all faith-based, okay? I like I said, Pascal's wager.
Do you look at do you see number 2?
Faith is not. It is a reliable way.
No, it's not.
If you believe that there is something that's faith, then that means it's a reliable way to a truth. If there is,
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
How does that not work? If you don't believe in it, that's not. There's no.
Is Zeus
faith,
real?
There's no pathway.
Is Zeus real?
We don't know.
No, we do know. We know how we know that Zeus is not real? Because we know where lightning comes from, and we've been to the top of Mount Olympus. So I'm asking you again, is Zeus real?
We don't know.
You
Zeus
don't know
could've
what's
been
on
real-
top of Mount Olympus.
Bro.
You don't know
bro,
what
Zeus could,
you don't know what causes at lightning, really?
Zeus could have been a real person, but the stuff he never could have been lightning or whatever it is.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and move on, guys. All right, so I have my last guest up on the board. It's someone from my YouTube queue. Eric, how is it going? You're gonna be my last guest because My wife is very upset that I'm on live all this time. So you're gonna be my last guest. Yeah, I know she's standing right here, but baby, it's okay, baby. It's okay. You give me
But
some
thank
water.
you.
Give me some water, please, baby.
Thanks,
babe. Love you.
Let me thank your
All right.
wife for her patience, man. Thank you to
Nah.
Mrs. Wife.
Not a problem. Thanks, babe. Thanks, babe. All right, y'all. So Eric is gonna be my last guest, and I'm gonna go ahead and move on. All right, Eric. Are you over 18, and do you disagree with something I have on the board?
Yes, I'm over 18. I'm 67, and I wanted to discuss number 5 with you.
Sure.
And I believe that I'll just cut to the chase. I believe that you would say that you have a lot of evidence for evolution, among which would be transitional fossils. You look at the DNA of man and chimp, and you see that there's you hypothesize that we have a common ancestor.
Correct.
And am I correct so far?
All correct.
Okay. Now, what I appreciate about you is your civility, and I've got to say that, and your intelligence. So I'm sure that I don't have to preach to you about scientific method. We both know what scientific method is. You make your observation, you develop your hypothesis, and then you have to put it through a falsifiability process with tests that are stringent enough to actually prove your hypothesis wrong if it's capable of being proven wrong.
Correct.
So, okay, so let's look at the claim that many atheists makes that every fossil is transitional. I understand the argument. We can use Archaeopteryx as an example. You look at Archaeopteryx, you notice that it has traits of the theropod dinosaur and traits of a modern bird. So it gets placed on a chart right in between the two, and it's declared to be a transitional. So that's okay so far. If somebody wants to believe that, I have a dog in the fight. They're entitled. I respect that. But if we're going to call it science, we have to separate it from imagination. We have to separate it from science fiction. And so what we have to do is put it through a falsifiability test. We have to test our hypotheses. And the only problem is there's only one test that's capable of proving this hypothesis either right or wrong, and that's a DNA test. There's no other test that has the capacity to falsify it, only the DNA test. And the problem is you don't have a DNA for the Archaeopteryx, you don't have the DNA for the theropod dinosaur. So it proves to be an unfalsifiable hypothesis, no better than science fiction. And that's the case with absolutely nearly every single case of the claim for a transitional fossil. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's an early quote-unquote whale, the Pakicetus that looks like a little dog, you don't have its DNA to test whether or not it is a forefather of the whale. And then let's go to chimpanzee and humans, for instance.
Okay. Well, no. When it comes to the paleontology, right? They don't really go off of like a DNA, because just like how you said, fossils are basically rocks. So there's not a lot of them that have DNA left. There's not a lot of like soft tissue that exists right now. There are some that do still have soft tissue, and I think they've done DNA test them before, but I'm not sure. But they don't just go off of just like looking at the rock samples, right? Because it goes off more of like morphology, essentially. But when it comes to paleontology, it's a lot more complicated than what you're making it, because they don't just go off of DNA. They have to look at morphological like transitions. Like if we can see like a progression of going from one form to another form, and if we can see that progression, then that's like dead on proof that this thing happened, right?
Well, I disagree. No, it's still a hypothesis.
How would it be a hypothesis if we see the bones going from one form all the way up to another form, and we're finding them within rock layers of each form?
Well,
like that would be proof.
Let's look at this.
Because like when it comes to Like one thing I was gonna say, that when it comes to some of these things, like especially paleontology, when it comes to evolution, you have to make certain predictions. And if we make the prediction that we should see these type of bones, we should see these bones and this rock structure, and these bones look this way, and then we look in that rock structure and we do find the bones that look this way, how would that not be proof?
Are you suggesting that we don't have to put these pet theories through a falsifiability test?
We do. Like, they do have to be falsifiable, right? Because yeah, exactly what I said. Because if we didn't find certain fossils in certain rock layers, then that would show it to that the hypothesis to be false, right? But if we have a hypothesis that we should find certain bones in certain rock layers and they should look a certain way, and we do find certain bones in certain rock layers and they do look a certain way, then that it went through falsifiability, didn't it?
Well, you're still looking at the morphology. You dig up the fossil, you look at its morphology, you compare it with the morphology of another specimen, like let's go to the Archaeopteryx and theropod dinosaur again. And then you develop your hypothesis. Your hypothesis, based on the morphology, is that the two are related. So now you have to find a stringent test with the capacity to prove that wrong. And there's only one test that can absolutely prove that wrong, and that is the DNA test.
No, there's something else you can use to prove it wrong. I just don't know what it is, to tell you the truth. But I can tell you right now, it's way more complicated than just using DNA test.
Well, it's way more complicated than just looking at the morphology. And there's a fellow named Colin Patterson, and he was the British, the head of the British Museum of Natural History, an evolutionist. He wrote a book and he toured speaking on evolution. And when asked why he didn't include any transitional fossils in his book, he said, because you can't put them to the test. And that's the truth. There's the only test possible that can prove that the Archaeopteryx is not related to the theropod dinosaur would be a DNA test. Now, I can bring forth a good example, too, of something where it proves false, because we do have the DNA of the direwolf. And for over 100 years, we said that the direwolf was the ancestor of dogs and wolves. But now that we've got the DNA of the direwolf, we know that's false. And it is its own species. It's not related at all.
The direwolf is not related to modern day dogs or wolves?
Exactly. And then we have Neanderthal. Neanderthal is classified as Neanderthalis. It's said that it is a transitional species. It is a transitional fossil. But the only problem with this is the 300-year-old definition of species, which predates Darwin. And it states that a species is simply like organisms that have the capacity to interbreed and produce fertile offspring.
Right.
If they have that capacity, they are the same species. Now, the problem with Neanderthal is we know we have sequenced the Neanderthal DNA, and we have, as Homo sapiens, many of us have Neanderthal DNA within us, meaning that we indeed did interbreed and produce fertile offspring, which means that by the definition of species, we are
right. So when it comes, we would be the same species, right? So the thing is, when it comes to species, right? These things are like even species in of itself is kind of a blur, because it's just like what you brought up. We were able to have fertile offsprings with Neanderthals. But when it comes to like Neanderthals, right, we're all still in the same genus, right? Because we're all in the same the genus of Homo. Neanderthals weren't like a completely different species that we couldn't like interbreed with, like chimpanzees, right? They were all still human. Like Neanderthals were human, Denisovans were human. They were all still in our same genus, but we just weren't in the same kind of. I forgot how this goes. If it goes genus, class, family, clade, things like that. I'm not a biologist,
right?
But that's the reason why we were able to kind of interbreed with them. But the other thing that I would say is that when it comes to dire wolves and dogs, I just go ahead and look that up just to make sure. They're not closely related, but they do share a common ancestor. right? Which is why they all have the same sort of morphology. And when it comes again to like the fossils and things like that, this is more complicated than just we can't, because there are things we can't do a DNA test for, like obviously, right? So we have to go off of morphology and several other lines of evidence. I wouldn't be able to tell you. You have to talk to a paleontologist, but it is not. It's not. I'm fairly certain it's not just we can't test DNA, therefore we can't prove Archaeopteryx was related to modern birds, because they have all of the forms of modern birds. So we know that's where they that's where modern birds came from.
Well, you see, that's the problem for the evolutionists, for the atheists. You see, science doesn't favor anybody. Science says you have to have a stringent test that's capable of actually proving your hypothesis wrong.
And DNA test is not the only one.
If you don't have that, then it's an unfalsifiable hypothesis, meaning that it's no better than science fiction. It's pure imagination.
Right. Okay. So you're saying that the only stringent test that exists is DNA. That's the only one.
Yeah, that's the only way to put that theory.
It's not.
You're wrong.
It's not.
You're wrong. You're wrong, sir. You're also wrong about the dire wolves.
Oh no! Feel free to look it up.
You're incorrect.
I can pull up the articles for you.
I encourage you to do so and share your sources, because I have also pulled up sources.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Tell me where it says that dire wolves are completely unrelated to wolves and modern day dogs.
Okay, this.
Because I know without a doubt that dire wolves and modern day dogs share a common ancestor. I'm sorry, dire wolves and wolves and modern day dogs all share a common ancestry.
Okay, well, if you go to, I've got this right here. Let me put the link in your.
No, just share your source. I have my computer in front of me right now.
This comes from Scientific American. Okay, and I will give you the link here if you want to look it up. This is from Scientific American, and give you a chance to look it up. And now I got to find it again. Bear with me just a moment. What it says is, dire wolves were not really wolves. New genetic clues reveal. So now the statement that you made about having a common ancestor, that was my next point. You see, you look at the dire wolf, you look at the dogs, and you say they have a common ancestor. And it's cool if you want to theorize that. We look at the DNA of the chimpanzee and the modern human, and we say the same thing. We have a common ancestor. Again, there's only one way to stringently test that, and that's through DNA. So, in other words, what we need to do, we need to test that hypothesis. And the only way to test it is to actually point out.
Did you read this article that you're citing?
Yeah, hold on.
Because I really have a hard time finding anything you're saying credible based on the actual data that you've provided here just now, like the source that you've cited. Because if you read the source that you cited, you would know that what you're saying is wrong.
Yeah, and we actually have tested when it comes to humans and chimpanzees having a common ancestor. We know that for a fact.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, my bad. This is going to be real quick. That article that you posted, I mean, I'm a little stickler when it comes to resources. It says .com, so I don't know if you looked into it, and there might be sources within that article, but I'm not here for that. I just wanted to come in here to chime in because there's one thing that this person said with the lion mane PFP. They're hybrid, which means that there is correlation between a dire wolf and regular dogs, and this is based off of a video of this one guy that I used to watch based off of Crash Course. Basically, it was this one dude and another dude that basically goes over Crash Course revolving around science, biology. I put that video right there, and he also mentions with sources that he goes over that. Just so that way, instead, if you're not like a person that goes into like articles and goes and checks the sources of the article to be super, super sure, there's that video right there. And that guy is really well known when it comes to going over like that sort of thing. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Checks out.
Appreciate you, Doug. Yeah, Hank Green.
If I could read from this article now, this is, if you go down, you'll see But the new evidence told a different story. Preliminary genetic analysis indicated that dire wolves and gray wolves were not close relatives. I think I can
You said
speak.
they're not close relatives. They
Okay.
are relatives. They do
Well,
descend from the same common ancestor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
well,
what I said. They
here's-
descended from the
here's-
same common ancestor about 5.7 million years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Here's the problem. If you're going to make that claim, okay, there's
It's
no
not a
way.
claim.
It is a claim. It's an unfalsifiable claim because you
Okay.
cannot test this.
Yeah, you
cannot
can.
test this claim.
Yeah, you can.
The only,
Yeah,
the,
you
The
can.
article you
Fossils.
provided for us, the article that you shared, literally expresses that.
Well, let me express what I'm saying here. If you don't,
I don't care. You're not a paleontologist. I'm reading what the
if you
paleontologist.
don't mind, you see, what we have to deal with is methodology, scientific method. And
But should I
this-
trust your methodology, sir, or should I trust?
Well,
the
no,
paleontologist
scientific method.
Methodology.
A scientific method doesn't.
And
mean
did the
you or
paleontologist
me.
not use a scientific method?
Okay, well, you're not using scientific method at the moment. Now,
All right, hold on, Eric. What we're trying to say is that if the paleontologists are using the scientific method, and the paleontologists are pointing out
But
that
they're-
these
but they're-
fossils, hold on, if the paleontologists are saying that these things are related, are you saying that the paleontologists are just lying? They're not using the scientific method?
And
And
I'll
you
show
said
you.
DNA.
I'll show
was,
you how.
and you said
All they're
DNA
doing-
was,
all they're
was, the,
doing-
was the
next thing
coverall,
we'll do-
right? You
let
said
me-
DNA was the proof, and the proof was made through DNA.
If I can make my point here for just a moment. Please
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. You dig up your fossil. You observe the morphology. This is what you base your hypothesis on now. You look at the hypothesis, or you look at the bones, the morphology. That's what you base your theory on. Or in this case, you could look at the DNA of humans and chimpanzees. And you when you make that observation that they're so close together, your hypothesis becomes, therefore, we are related. We have a common ancestor. Okay, now that is your observation based on, that's your hypothesis based on the observation of the DNA. So what you can't
Actually, you're
just
getting
say,
that backwards.
You
I'm
can't say,
sorry to interrupt, Eric. You're getting that backwards. We make the hypothesis first, and then we look for the for what it will look like in the field, right? So if we're saying that these animals are closely related, that's the hypothesis. Then we go on to the field to see if what we see, what we expect to see in paleontology, and what we expect to see in genetics. Like, for example, if humans and chimpanzees are closely related, we would expect to see that in genetics, and we do. And if wolves, dogs, and dire wolves are related, we expect to see in the fossil record, the morphology and fossil record. So we go out there and we see it. It's not that we go out to look at fossils and then we make a hypothesis and we just believe it, right? Like,
but you do.
you're getting the process
You
backwards.
do that very thing. For instance,
That's not what paleontologists do, bro. That's not what they do.
You didn't know there was an Archaeopteryx until you did.
Yes, I did. I mean, no. Okay. I'm being unfair. When you say I don't know there was an Archaeopteryx, what do you? Well, not me in particular. I know you're saying you in general, but what do you mean?
We didn't know that it existed until it was dug up. So once
Yeah,
it
we
was
didn't
dug
know
up-
it was until it was dug up, but there was already a hypothesis that dinosaurs and modern birds are related, right? And we say that if dinosaurs and modern birds are related, we would need to find a fossil that would show a transitional form between dinosaurs and birds, and Archaeopteryx is what we found.
Well,
So,
some people-
like, it
some
vindicated
people-
the hypothesis.
Some people believed the Archaeopteryx was nothing but a bird. Some scientists.
Right.
So,
They
there you
believed
go.
that it was nothing but a bird, and then when they looked at it, they saw that it had dinosaur features as well, which is
But
what showed that this is a transitional form because it has both features.
If I could make my point here,
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
what you
Scientific
do.
method, they'll also continuously test. So this has to be disproven over and over and over and
If
over.
I pardon me, ma'am, if I could just make my point. You see, when they dug up the Archaeopteryx, they observed the morphology, and that's what blew them away. Okay, they observed the morphology and they declared finding a transitional fossil, and they do this with every fossil. They say every fossil is transitional. So They observed that it had similar features to the theropod dinosaur. They observed that it had features of the modern birds. They said it's a transition in between, transitional. So
Right,
now,
and it vindicated the hypothesis that dinosaurs are birds.
Now that they've developed their hypothesis, the hypothesis being that this Archaeopteryx is in the direct lineage of theropod dinosaurs and modern birds. That is
But
what
the problem.
Hold
Hold on, Eric. Eric, hold on. No, wait, hold on, Eric. I got Eric.
Finish, please.
Hold on. What I'm saying, Eric, is that you're getting that. Hold on, wait. Hold on, wait. Give me a second, Eric. My thing is that you're getting it backwards again.
Well, no, I'm not.
Paleontologists didn't come up with the hypothesis that theropods and modern birds are related because of Archaeopteryx. They had the hypothesis before Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx is the one that proved it.
Are you saying that they don't theorize that the Archaeopteryx is related to the theropod dinosaur?
No, that's all I'm saying. Listen to what I'm actually saying. What I'm saying is that wait. Let me answer you.
Stop. You've done more talking than anybody here. Let him finish.
Yeah,
You've done more talking than anybody here.
Yeah. So Eric, let me answer you. What I'm saying is that the narrative that you're presenting, you're getting it backwards. You're saying that they found Archaeopteryx and then they hypothesized that the Archaeopteryx, that modern day birds and theropods are related because they found Archaeopteryx. That's not how that happened. What happened is that they already. Let me finish. What happened is that they looked at the morphology of theropod dinosaurs and they noticed is that it was very similar to birds, modern day birds, because of hollow bones and because of the morphology. So then they hypothesized that yes, modern day birds and theropod dinosaurs are related. After that, they said that we should, if this is the case, we should find a transitional form of modern birds and theropod dinosaurs. Then they found Archaeopteryx, which vindicated that hypothesis. So they didn't come with a hypothesis after Archaeopteryx. They came with it before Archaeopteryx, and Archaeopteryx proved it. So you're getting it backwards, is what I'm saying.
They theorized that the three are related.
Right. They theorized that theropods and modern birds are related, and we should find a transitional form. Then they found Archaeopteryx. So it vindicated what they theorized.
Now, when they dug up that,
Michaela, you're next. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
When they dug up that fossil, are you saying that they then did not theorize that this was the very thing they predicted, and this is related to the theropod dinosaur and the modern bird?
Yeah, that Archaeopteryx proved what they hypothesized. Yeah, exactly. Archaeopteryx proved what they hypothesized. But your initial position was that they. Yeah. What your initial position was that. Hold on. Your initial position was that they came up with the hypothesis after they found Archaeopteryx, and that's not true. They hypothesized that theropods and modern birds are related before Archaeopteryx, and Archaeopteryx proved it.
Shooting past my point.
I'm not sure what your point is. Michaela, you're going to be next. I'm sorry, Michaela.
Here's my point. My point is they still hypothesized, they still theorized that this Archaeopteryx was the fulfillment of what they were looking for. They don't know that this is related to the theropod dinosaur. They just know that morphologically it bears a resemblance. And they don't know that it's related to the modern bird.
Go ahead, Michaela. Go ahead.
They just know that it bears a resemblance, a morphological.
Have you been listening?
I don't think so. Go ahead, Michaela.
Of course, I've been listening.
I feel like.
I guess you don't understand that there's
Eric has done more speaking than anybody. Eric has done more speaking than anybody in this space.
Yeah, he's on my YouTube thing.
Yeah, I caught on to that, and it's one thing for the guest to be interrupted, but for the guest to be like consistently interrupting the host is wild work.
Yes, like, and on top of that, like I said, Vosa, you've repeated yourself multiple times. If he doesn't understand that, I'm like that the hypothesis came first, and then it was confirmed through the scientific method. That is literally what you said.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
How are you going to?
Like I had to look this up.
So I'm like, so it literally has been proven because it
May I
was
ask you a question?
confirmed,
May I ask you a
observed.
question?
Plain as day that I feel like this is it's going to be an endless circular argument.
May I ask you a
because
question?
you
I'm
can't
like, I feel like I'm in a circle jerk. Like,
May I ask you a question?
like just man in circle jerk. Like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, you can ask your question, Eric, and Michaela is next. Go ahead, ask your question. Michaela will answer you because she's been patient. Go ahead, Eric.
How are you going to confirm that without testing it?
I don't.
They
I don't.
tested it.
I don't.
They just confirmed it.
All right, guys. All right, guys. All right, y'all. I can't. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I just can't, y'all.
Children, I'm like,
I just
children
can't.
have been left behind. The children have been left behind. Reading, comprehension,
I
comprehended
just.
the information. Apparently, these are skills that everyone don't have. Just
Yo, that got frustrating as hell.
Yeah, that got for I just can't, y'all. Yeah, I want to see my wife. Come here, baby.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on. Everybody want to see your beautifulness. Well, yeah, y'all never seen her before. Yeah, never seen her before.
We hear you talk.
Mhm.
We hear you talk to her all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. We talk about her all the time. But say hi to the camera, baby. There she is. Yeah.
He's so patient with you too.
Yeah, she's really patient. Because I was supposed to be done at 9:45. It's almost 11. Boy, she gonna she'll go inside my head, boy.
I'm just happy to see y'all. I haven't seen y'all in a minute. No.
Yeah, I know. But I do appreciate y'all being up here. I know y'all came up just a little late because I was not gonna take no more guests, but I appreciate y'all being up here. This weekend, on Saturday, I need to go see my family. There's a family emergency going on, so I'm gonna go see them this weekend.
Mhm.
But I am gonna be back here on Thursday. All right,
Okay, I'll be here Thursday.
no problem. 8-man 8. Come back Thursday. 8 o'clock.
Time on Thursday.
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
EST.
8 o'clock EST. Yeah. Oops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Like 8 o'clock EST. We'll be back, and yeah, I'll do one-on-one for a bit, probably for like the first hour, and then we'll go to panel style. All right.
You said 8 o'clock, right?
8 o'clock.
Okay, cool.
The live request though on my end. I don't know why that is. Like I can mute and all the other things, but I cannot see the live. I cannot see like the request.
The request, you can't see them.
I can't request anyone.
Okay, I'll fix that once. I got you. Once I get off, I'll go on and fix that. But I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
it's
you.
just good
I
to
was
see y'all.
wondering like why can't I see it? That's so weird.
All good. I probably forgot to toggle something, so I'll do that once I get off. All right, y'all. But I appreciate y'all. So Thursday, I'm gonna do it for an hour, and then I'll move on to panel style. And I already know Issa, Michaela, y'all got that. Y'all always run
Word.
my panels really well, and
no. I'm like,
I'll just
oh,
relax.
I'm like,
I'm looking forward to it.
You know we got that.
Yeah, I got you. I know y'all got that.
This is my like actual page, like my.
Oh,
regular
let me follow
page.
this. Let me follow
Yes,
this.
I'm like, well, and that's the pic. So you've never seen me, so that's a picture of me. That's what I look like.
Yes. My picture's a little. I actually just colored my hair dark, so my hair's dark now. But
I'm
like,
like, I have locks in right now currently, but that was me with my little.
yeah, let me
Gotcha.
see.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's so good to see you guys.
Yeah. All right, guys. Oh, hey, Issa.
Let me put my camera on.
Me and my puppy over here.
Yeah, we gotta we gotta get pets. I already told I already told wifey that we gotta get like a cat or a dog.
Yes, please. Yes, we will definitely be Thursday reunion. Because it's been too long.
Mhm. Yeah, it's definitely been too long since I had y'all. But let me go ahead and get out of here before she gets mad and I don't get nothing tonight.
Yeah, go tend to your wife.
Yes, go tend to her.
I'm
give
gonna
her
go.
all our love.
Gotcha. If any of y'all go live, I'll like it and fall asleep when if y'all live.
It's so funny. funny? I can never go live on TikTok. Like I have the ability, but I can't go live because I can't get through the age verification because I know Black don't crack, but TikTok literally thinks I'm a minor.
They think she's a minor.
That's hilarious.
Like TikTok does not believe I'm a grown woman. I promise you. Like every time I try, I think I have to like, I don't know, maybe I have to like buy something, use my something to verify my age because TikTok does not believe I'm a grown woman.
I'm gonna have to let you guys go. I had chemo today, so I'm not feeling so well. So
I'm like,
I gotta go handle things. But it's wonderful to see you guys. It's been a long time, but there's been stuff happening. So
Yeah, we got
you.
you. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here as well. Like, peace to y'all. Love y'all. You have a wonderful night. All right, appreciate y'all so much.
Y'all. Bye.
All right, y'all. Have a good one. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here as well. That's the end of the TikTok one. I'm gonna go ahead and close that real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna close that up real quick. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I appreciate everyone who's been watching on all of the YouTubes, on my personal YouTube, on the Black Atheist Coalition, and on the Deconstruction YouTube. You guys are wonderful. You guys are amazing. Shout out to all the guests. You guys are great. I appreciate y'all, and y'all have a wonderful night. All right.